The right to offend is not some pesky little part of freedom of speech that we have to put up with. It is the heart and soul and lungs of freedom of speech. It is the coursing lifeblood of human progress. It is the instigator of liberty and modernity and science and understanding. What a laughing stock today's student leaders are, that they can so casually dismiss the right to be offensive without realizing that their lovely, enlightened lives are the gift of individuals who gave offense. Offensiveness is not just something we have to begrudgingly accept. Offensiveness is the motor of human progress.
Now broadcasting from the Right to Offend Media Studios in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, art, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report Live with Sam Whitfield.
But giving offense is good. In fact, it's essential.
Well, giving offense is good, ladies and gentlemen, except for the fact that Rumble seems to be being a little gay tonight. Both Moore and I got rumbled, before the show even started, so, that's lovely. And then, I guess there was like a biohazard or something, in the Massachusetts area because, Max has a sinus infection, so he's not going to be joining us. And believe me, sinus infections, at least in my experience, more crippling than cerebral palsy. So, you're stuck with two based cripple men tonight, which is kind of fitting because for those of you who are defending Jesse Ridgway, basically you guys are going to have two cripples basically guilting you tonight. So welcome to the show. And Mort, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing all right, Sammy. I'm a little bit conflicted. Half of me is
You cut, yeah, and Mort got rumbled. I guess the internet really doesn't want based crippleman speaking tonight, which is a shame. But he's back now. You were saying more.
did you get that, Sammy?
I got part of it. You said you were doing well, and then the internet crippled your connection. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's one of those shows. It is like, not to go off on too much rant, but Rumble, like, fix your platform. Seriously. Let me just say this, like, from the outset. And I don't even need, like, I don't really need a co-host for this right now, but I just want to be real clear on something. While I do not condone, like, harassing, Jesse Ridgway or his wife, like, actually harassing them and making threats, that is not the same as criticizing them. And they are absolutely deserving of criticism. And for those who are saying, "Oh, well, Sam, you know, you have no idea how hard it is to, deal with Down syndrome kids as a parent, and you're not even a parent, so why are you chiming on this?" I've gotten a lot of those comments lately, and like, I will say this: no, I'm not a parent. Um, I've never had to deal with people with Down syndrome, uh, from a parental responsibility or even like a teaching responsibility. But like I've interacted with people with Down syndrome and um I've had enough experience with people with Down syndrome to say conclusively that the way these people are acting who are defending Jesse Ridgway and his wife, they're acting as like people with Down syndrome. They're acting as if it's like the bubonic plague or some shit like that. And it's not. Uh, do people with Down syndrome have, you know, complexities to their lives, so to speak? Yes. Do they maybe sometimes have behavioral issues that might not always be ideal to deal with? Yes. But to say that terminating someone with Down syndrome because it's difficult to deal with, that's pretty shitty. And this may sound like super insensitive what I'm about to say, but those who are defending Jesse Ridgway and his wife and their decision to, abort their Down syndrome kid, if that's even like really what's happening here, the reality of the matter is, and I'll just kind of cut to the chase, is that these were the same excuses that racists used to use for uh, killing their black slaves back during the slavery era in the country. These black people are just too hard to deal with. They don't really know any better. They make life, difficult, and we don't really consider them human. They're more property. So it's it's easier and it's more merciful just to execute them rather than have to deal with them. That may be a really sensitive take, but that is essentially what people who uh, don't want to deal with people with Down syndrome are saying. They're treating people with Down syndrome and disability as a whole as others, as not human, essentially. And it really is a crying shame, honestly. Now, if Morpheus's internet isn't crippled, I believe he has something you'd like to say on this. So, more is your internet crippled or are you there?
Am I back, Sammy?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Well, we could at least. Technical difficulties, folks. This is this is a real bummer. Okay, sir, you're back, I think.
Testing, testing.
Yeah, I heard you unmute your mic.
All right. Did you get the statement? When I was talking about Boogie, Keem, and McJugger Nuggets.
No, I had not heard about that. What's been going on? And I guess Mort's connection keeps spazzing out, which okay. Damn, what is going on with Rumble Studio tonight, folks? This this may be a really short episode if this keeps up this way. And it's a real shame too. But anyway, while we're waiting for Mort to get his internet back up and running, the other day on Monday, like I said on Monday's show, ladies and gentlemen, to be perfectly honest, I don't really know a lot about Jesse Ridgway, like as a person. Like I only know his content partially. Like I mentioned on Monday's show, I guess he's the guy who he basically made slop videos before like AI. Slop wasn't even a thing. He made a video, ladies and gentlemen, where he basically executed his dad, quote unquote, and faked it, for views. And he was also the one who, like, his first big video was my dad smashed my Xbox because I'm lazy or something. So he's made a career out of like shock and awe videos. And like he's always been terrible, right? This has kind of been his whole thing. And so when he announced that, him and his wife are having a kid, that was a whole thing because they basically film everything they do. And then when they announced that, the kid got diagnosed with trichotomy 21, that was, and they said, oh, we decided to abort it. And now we've got this shit show. So more is back, I think, hopefully. So yeah, now like Jesse, I guess, is like he's doubling down on the abortion, saying like, I'm glad that my dad didn't abort me, but I don't have any physical disabilities myself. So let me play this clip real quick for you, because it is very telling.
Thank you so much for amazing stream. I'm actually gonna end it just so I can just say goodbye real quick. Yeah, of course I'm glad my dad didn't terminate me. I'm normal. So, but guys, thank you so much for amazing stream. I'm actually gonna end it just so I can just say goodbye real quick.
So yeah, he's being very discriminating. He's being like purposely dense there, saying that yeah, he's glad that his dad didn't terminate him, but that he's also like quote unquote normal, right? So basically, what he's saying is that he's a eugenicist, right? That is the only way to like say it, is he's come out and said that he's a full-blown eugenicist, which I guess now he's like trying to backtrack. And here's the other thing too that I will bring up here in just a sec, if I can find it. Let's see here. So Jesse did an interview with People Magazine, in which he basically talked about how the whole entire internet is being extremely mean and cruel to him, right? And his wife, because they've received a lot of backlash for this, deservedly so. Like him and his wife have received a shit ton of backlash for this. And so they did an interview with People Magazine, and Jesse had the audacity to basically say that well, it's okay because my wife worked with special needs children in the past. And so that somehow makes it better. And I don't know, folks, that makes it even seedier somehow. But I could be wrong on that, I guess. So, let me see here. Let me just check and make sure that everything is going okay. So yeah, Mara's having like major tech issues tonight, which I feel bad for him because I know this is an issue that we're both deeply passionate about. And yeah, he's not able to speak on this. And like I've kind of said my piece on this from Monday's show. I think it's despicable and it's not getting any better. For the Ridgways, I guess. So let's see here. But yeah, like I said, Jesse's wife supposedly worked in special ed, and this actually makes the the situation like so much worse. If she did in fact work in special ed, and now she's aborting her, special needs child, seemingly out of convenience. That's not a good look. Like, at all. And it's like I think they're I think largely like there is a chance the Ridgways are faking this, which if they are, like, it's shitty if they're faking this whole abortion thing. Like, that's not any better. But at the same time, like, you know, they just keep digging themselves deeper. In the sense that, first it's revealed that they aborted their kid with Down syndrome, and now they're trying to get sympathy by saying, "Oh, we're friends with people with Down syndrome, and my wife works with children with Down syndrome," which makes it so much worse. And then you have people on the internet like Asmongold, who, by the way, I usually like Asmongold, but he has some really bad takes on this. Let's see. Oh, did Asmund delete the video? Maybe he did. Let me keep searching for this though. I thought I had it bookmarked, but maybe not. Jesse. Okay. Yeah, this is not. Let's see. Interesting. Well, I guess Asmongold deleted his video. Okay, here's a video that kind of recaps it. And let's see here. Okay, I think we might have more back. Hopefully. And nope. This is painful. Yeah, so Asmongold's take on this whole thing isn't like any better either. That's not what I wanted. Okay, let me see here. Okay, perfect. So yeah, Asmongold's take on like supporting the Ridgways really like has not done him any favors. And yeah. Let's and to be clear, like I said, I usually like Asmongold, but this is a really like poor take coming from him.
Yo, right after I drop my McJuggerNugget,
they're going to be a burden to society. Aborting kids that will have Down syndrome, I totally support it. I think it's the right thing to do. They're going to be a burden to society. They're going to have to be taken care of for their whole life. And again, like I understand that this is the part where a lot of the like more moral people in my audience diverge. I'm really not. I'm not. I am very much a utilitarian. I'm very pragmatic. And whenever I see people that have Down syndrome or there's something fucked up about them, this is a person that will be a constant drain on society. They will only be a drain on society. And fundamentally, it's a tragedy. It's horrible. But sometimes making that decision is a mercy.
yeah, that gave me chills about how.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of all you need to know right there. And that, sadly, ladies and gentlemen, is like a libertarian kind of, talking point, unfortunately, that, people with disabilities are a drain on society. So just abort them or just kill them off. It's no biggie. So, um, yeah, I really am. And at first, I really was kind of surprised that Asmongold had this take, but like at the same time, he is kind of like a libertarian in some ways. So I guess what do you want? And I don't mean to steal Mort's thunder here, but since he's having internet connectivity issues, I do want to highlight that Morpheus has been asking Jesse Ridgway about like his about like why he aborted his kid. And um and Moore got blocked for basically asking this. So let me see. Let me see if I can find the initial tweet here. So this was the initial tweet that Moore made, which is for those watching, if my parents did what you two did because of a disability, I wouldn't be here to write this. So am I to understand, McJuggernuggets, that your statement is disabled people don't deserve to live? That's all Moore asked. And Jesse Ridgway, McJuggernuggets, blocked him for this question. Really not doing yourself any favor there, Jesse. Just keep digging yourself in further. So, so on the flip side, though, ladies and gentlemen, we do have people who are, speaking out against Jesse, including like a lot of pro, I don't even want to say like pro Down syndrome accounts, but like Down syndrome advocacy accounts that are taking this to task. So let's see. Oh, and I thought let's Oh yeah, and this is lovely. I guess Jesse is now also like ranting out like the religious right. So this ought to be good.
Fathers who are confused confronting this.
So yeah, this guy is just digging himself in further.
Jesse, please stop talking. Just put your phone down. Don't post anything for a while. Go off the grid. Like, you're being canceled, dude. Like, that's what people are saying to me right now. And I'm like, guys, you don't get it. Like, you're crazy. This is exactly when you talk more about it. It's like when you're squeezing somebody's pressure point. They're like, no, make it stop. Like, no, that's when you keep going. You struck a nerve. It's something that matters. And I'm doing this not just for myself and my wife and my family, but for all the families, all the prospective parents, the women, the single mothers, the fathers who are confused confronting this situation, the ones that have been told to be silent. It's important that I encourage the conversation, keep talking about it, because I don't want the...
Okay, first of all, Jesse, you are doing this exactly for yourself and for your wife. You are literally one of these e-celebs that streams your entire life here 24/7. You've made this entire thing public. So yeah, this is all for you. And again, like I don't think Jesse understands. Maybe he does. Maybe I'm giving him too much of a benefit of the doubt here. But let me clarify for you, Jesse. The reason why people are upset with you, specifically in this case, it's not just that you aborted a kid, right? That on its own would have been bad enough, but you specifically aborted a kid because it it ha- it has Down syndrome, and you consider that to be an inconvenience. Down syndrome is not like a a terminal disease. It's not cancer. It's like yeah, there are physical issues and cognitive issues. It's not it's not like a life-threatening condition even. I would argue that like more having spina bifida, which he's talked about, is more detrimental, so to speak. So yeah, but keep on prattling there.
message and the takeaway to be like, yeah, you're going to get a lot of backlash for aborting a child when there's, again, 1 million abortions every single year. They're just happening in the shadows. And I don't want people to think that, oh, we're just going to back down. You guys are right. Like, a lot of the pro-life people
are wishing death upon me and my wife, which is hypocritical. And a lot of them use God and Jesus as their weapon and their justification, but like, it doesn't matter to me because I'm not religious. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the Bible. Like, I haven't since I was 8 years old. And then I learned science and I was like, oh, that makes more sense. But I don't judge people for believing in it. I think that's great. If it's how you want to frame your life and your decisions, that more power to you.
Okay, the fact that Jesse doesn't believe in God or religion, forget even the religion part, right? But the fact that he doesn't believe in God, that explains a lot about his character right then and there. Because, again, this Jesse Ridgway guy is someone who has basically made a career off of making up scenarios for content. Everything from like minor, stuff like you know, he like convinced his dad to smash his, Xbox, and it became like a viral thing, right? Not so much, that was more like an outrage, clickbait thing, but that's not like really bad. But then he also like escalated it to where like he and his now wife were like staging domestic violence videos where like he would I guess like pretend to beat her. He also like made a video where he pretended to shoot his father. And I guess when they were filming it, like it was like the neighbors could hear it, and it was so like I guess convincing to some people that like his neighbors called the cops, and the cops showed up, and then Jesse had to explain that no, this was like a video that they're doing, which is a very fucked up thing to do, right? To like basically pretend that you're killing your dad. Like that as a concept, even if it's like for a shock and awe video, if it's, again, they weren't like doing this for like a clearly fictionalized movie, like they wanted to make this seem like a viral video. That I'm not like for censorship of speech or anything like that. Right, but at the same time, like if you do something like that, the cops are gonna get called. And if you're faking that, well, that's like wasting valuable police resources. So that's the type of shit that Jesse Ridgway does. And let's see. I saw more pop in, but then he disappeared again. So I don't know what's up, but let's continue.
When you start to use it as a weapon, then it becomes problematic. People saying go to hell. It's like it doesn't matter because I can't go there. I don't believe in it, and I just can't imagine I'll be ending up in a human personified place that has fire and brimstone and a man with a pitchfork. Like, I just don't buy it. And even for the religious folks, I mean, don't we believe in forgiveness? I mean, we've all sinned, right? So that you can just ask for forgiveness and things will be okay. I'm going to keep pushing, guys. I would encourage more conversation about this topic. I'm sure a lot of people that would even judge me.
Okay, the thing of it is, Jesse, and by the way, Mort, hopefully you're back on. But the thing of it is, Jesse, is like people are trying to have conversations with you. You just don't want to hear what any of us have to say. Which is a damn shame. So, you there, Mort? Hopefully he's here. Um, but yeah, no one is trying to like censor you, Jesse. And for the record, like if anyone is making actual threats to Jesse Ridgway and his family, like this kind of goes without saying, like they obviously shouldn't. We don't condone that here at Right to Defend Media, but we certainly don't, you know, like trying to have a dialogue with him and pushing back against him and his wife aborting their kid. That's not the same thing. So,
Are going to be confronting this potential situation or trisomy 18, some of the other chromosomal abnormalities. It happens. I did not think it would happen to me, and here I am. Never in a million years did I expect to be a poster child for abortion. Because as a dude, it's not something you really confront. You know, we're just trying to be first-time parents, and it's been overwhelming. But I have to give a shout out to everyone that has supported us. And I'm going to keep talking because I fear for some fans or followers of mine or people coming into this, they kind of judge based off a headline. They miss context and they're very impressionable. And they kind of just go with some vocal minority that is being just absurdly provocative. Like, it's absolutely crazy. I'm definitely going to do more videos like this one because I have too many things to say. I'll say it in another video. Anyway, I love you guys that have my back. This is crazy. And yeah, we're just going to keep rolling with it.
so yeah, again, this guy has no remorse. And it really is sad to see, like, I am starting to lean more towards the faction that he is doing this entire thing for clicks, which is a real bummer. And it's a real shame. And the fact that he's getting like backlash for this, whether or not it's real or fake, it's deserved. So, oh, and as I scroll Twitter on my phone real quick, his wife is like also trying to downplay this, which you know, that's lovely and not at all despicable. But good lord. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I suppose that you know, it's a bummer that Moore is having technical difficulties. Tonight, and I was hoping to get him and his take on this whole situation. And we may have you know, we may cover some of this next week, hopefully once Max is back, and I wanted to get Max's take on this. But since you know, neither of my co-hosts are really here to cover this topic as I was hoping for. Let me move on to another topic that I was hoping, which has to do with the Karmelo Anthony trial. Now, for those who don't know, Karmelo Anthony, we're not talking about the Major League Baseball player here, right? Karmelo Anthony is a black teenager who basically well, for lack of a better word, Karmelo Anthony stabbed an innocent white teenager in cold blood, stabbed in the heart, was arrested, and of course, Black Lives Matter and the activist wing tried to claim that, oh, it was self-defense. Well, it wasn't. It clearly wasn't, like, not even close. And, well, I mean, basically, justice was served, and Karmelo Anthony was sentenced to. Let's see here. Let me actually ask Rock here real quick. Let's see. Craig says everything is okay. I've arrived to say dumb shit in the chat. That is great. And he's arrived on stream too. So welcome, Dr. Craig. How are you doing tonight? Unless Rumble is going to fuck up for you too, in which case Rumble is being controlled by the Illuminati.
I fucking win. Craig's 1, Illuminati's 0.
Well, or Rumble is run by Palestine too, which could be the case. But yeah.
35 years is the answer you're looking for, with potential for parole after 17 and a half.
Yeah, so I remember covering the Karmelo. I think I might even been on your guys' show once talking about this, but the Karmelo Anthony thing is really it's a fucked up situation.
Well, yeah, the guy was named after a candy bar.
Well, and also you might not know this, but there was actually an NBA player named Karmelo Anthony who played for the Denver Nuggets, and so he was a player when I grew up. So initially, when I heard this, it was like no way. It was
he hasn't stabbed anyone, right?
Yeah,
that we know of.
Yeah, I was heartbroken at first because I thought that one of the few basketball players I actually like stabbed a person, but turns out it was just some loser who
some other Karmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
You know, one of the sad things about him is that people cite that he had a high GPA and 2 jobs. What that tells me is, 1, he should have known better, and 2, he should have had better shit to do.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I know his team was there, and they didn't have their tent up and blah, 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 but, like, zero forward thought on, gee, I'm going to miss my shift.
Right?
Man, I've got that test. Come on.
Well,
that shows me he should have known better, and that's worse than not having that capacity.
Yeah.
Should have known better, did know better, but didn't care.
Well, and also, like, there are people who are claiming it's self-defense. And
yeah, against air molecules, I guess. You know how they're pummeling you all day.
Right?
Well, you know, we've talked to enough cops on this very show, and stabbing someone in the heart, that's not a place where you would stab someone defensively, generally speaking.
Well, probably, yeah, for forearms, wrists, hands, but, like, at the same time, if you're in a fight and your only option is to win it and leave, I could see the heart being a killing blow.
Yeah.
Of course, that's the only place he got hit, so that doesn't really make it any better.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only thing I thought was that maybe I don't know if either of you have seen the show Dexter, but there is you know, about the serial killer, but there's a scene in one of the episodes where Dexter, like, stabs someone in the heart, like, defensively, but, like, I don't think, you know,
that's a show.
Yeah, and also I don't think Karmelo Anthony, being, like, what, 16, I don't think he was watching that show.
He's too young to have gone through any, like, sufficient combat training to know to do that.
Yeah.
So it would be. I can still see it being like a lucky blow, but the downside is all the witnesses that they called up to the stand, the defense attorney called up to the stand, all of them corroborated the video of the incident where he just fucking stabbed a kid.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing
they got through, what, 7 witnesses before resting their case out of, like, the 20 or 30 they were going to call.
Yeah.
Because they knew it was fucking over.
Yeah.
And then he didn't take a stand to defend himself, which is, you know, good or bad depending. But, like, in this case, like, he didn't have any character witnesses that could defend him either. Like, no one showed up to sit on the stand as a witness, a character witness, and say, you know, he's a good boy, he made a mistake, he has a long life ahead of him, you know, he's a smart boy with 2 jobs, don't let this be the one mistake that ruins his life because he was acting in self-defense, for example. Like, none of that happened because he didn't have anybody to do that, because they all knew he was a fucking asshole who stabbed a kid.
Yeah, not even the black kids who you know, who were, you know, called to testify, defended him. And that is the one thing that galls me about this, is, like, obviously Black Lives Matter is, like, you know, out there, like, you know, doing their thing.
All the Marxist poverty pimps are out there, but you'll notice that the ones that normally glom on like anal Klingons just weren't there this time.
Nope.
You didn't have Crump or Sharpton. You didn't have any of those guys hanging out there. They all abandoned ship as soon as they figured out this was open and shut case of a kid stabbing another kid.
Well,
for no good reason.
When Sharpton's not there, that's a problem.
Well, hold on though, Craig. We might have Gal Sharpton, aka Candace Owens, there now, because, you know.
Oh, she left Russia?
Well, I don't know, but, you know, but she seems to be like basically championing every, like, left. Of course, she always was a leftist, but, you know, like, I'm not.
Well,
I'm actually
the kind
surprised.
of retard who would blame this on Israel. So
yeah,
I can't wait to hear that argument.
Yeah. Yeah, this is somehow going to.
Somehow this is because of whatever her name is, Macron.
Yeah, we'll also credit
Candace
this.
was too close to the penis, and
Yeah,
all of a
well,
sudden this kid gets stabbed. What are the odds?
yeah, well, also this is somehow going to become your fault.
Oh, sure.
If yeah, if Candace has anything. So since Mara is here though, we were trying to talk out the whole Jesse Ridgway situation with that like fucked up YouTuber who I don't know if he there seems to be conflicting like things now like he either aborted his kid or he and his wife faked aborting their kid for content. Either way doesn't seem good.
Did one of the times that I actually was able to talk earlier there, Sammy? Did you get that I said I now understand why Keemstar, Boogie 2988, and Jesse have been friends for like decades,
Well, I mean, apart from the fact that they're all horrible human beings,
and they all fake content.
well, yeah. I don't know if
We've got Cancer Faker 2988, Abortion Faker Jesse, and Keemstar with his fucking local live bullshit.
also though, I don't know if you saw what I posted yesterday, or maybe I didn't post on Twitter, but I've seen some things that like supposedly one of Jesse's family members like faked getting cancer
Oh, fun!
for GoFundMe money.
Would not be surprised.
And yeah, I mean like, and now he's crying because he's claiming that people are threatening him and his wife over this whole thing, which, it should go without saying, like, don't threaten.
Number one, don't threaten. Number two, pretty sure we have a very contentious issue with abortion in this country. And number three, Jesse, when you stop being a bitch, come and talk to me.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing too. I mean, I showed it, but I can pull it up again. I'm actually surprised that faggot hasn't blocked me.
Took me a whole 5 days to get blocked.
Roy, it didn't take me long, like at all, to get blocked.
Yeah, it took 5 days of Jesse answer my fucking question to get blocked.
Well, I mean, congratulations. You're further ahead than I am. I would have thought that me like questioning his wife would have gotten me blocked, but apparently
Right.
not. I don't know if you saw this, but she's also now saying that she worked with special ed kids.
I did hear that, and that makes it even more repulsing to me.
Yeah, like they did this interview today, I guess today with People magazine, and
I'm sorry, living where they live in the house that they live on, they clearly have the resources to take care of a special needs kid. This was done if this abortion was legitimate, it was done for pure convenience.
yeah.
Oh, you know how those special needs people, terribly inconvenient. Until they're president of the United States.
Yeah, shit, I've been inconvenient for 42 years.
Yeah, I've been inconvenient.
Oh no, you're very convenient. You're like the punchline of every joke, dude.
That's because it's funny. And because I'm probably gonna make fun of you if you don't make fun of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you, some kind of fucking retard?
Fucking Jew.
No,
Man.
my favorite thing is Ash, my friend Ash, aka Bass Buzz. He like legit thought you were a Downey at first, and he kind of felt bad. And I had to explain to him, I'm like, no, Mort's not one of those special eds. He's more like me.
Look, he's all front of the short bus. You hear?
Yeah.
Front of the short bus listening to fucking rock music.
Probably. Well, I would imagine. I don't know if they put engineers at the short bus, because I do know
they put us underneath it. Got to run it somehow.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, public school buses do break down, and they do need engineers to fix shit. So,
I don't know. That kind is a sanitation engineer.
so that would be more like Steve's expertise.
You say that, but these days, taking care of the little one in the house, I'm sure he's sitting there every so often in the pantry looking down at the garbage can going, motherfucker, how does it produce this much?
And rumor has it it's not the one that wears the pants that runs the family, it's the one that shits in the smallest diaper.
Well, that's kind of true, because at the end of your life, you got people running around you, taking care of your shit for you. In theory, if you're lucky and you get there. If you're unlucky, you got some punk in a tent throwing a fucking knife at you. But
yeah, well, I mean, let's just say this. I am more open to the idea that Jesse faked this, because, like, why wouldn't he? But at the same time, like, what a shitty thing to, like.
well, it's a classy thing, isn't it? You know what? I was gonna have a kid, but fuck him. Okay, and why? It was gonna be retarded. How so? Oh, no fault of its own. Just bad parents, I guess.
Hey Sam, here it comes. This reminds me of a DSP situation.
Oh dear Lord!
About 2 years ago, he was working with Kino Casino. Every so often, they would bounce an idea off him, and the excuse that DSP would give Andy and PPP is, "My mom is sick, so I can't do it."
Well, I mean, both EPP and Worski are kind of retarded. So what you're telling me is that Jesse Ridgway just doesn't like retarded people in general.
Well, DSP, but the problem is DSP is also fucking retarded.
Oh yeah, well, I mean,
God bless him. He's making money, I guess.
And his new grift is fucking Pokemon cards.
I heard something about that. He's just open up packs of them, I guess.
Yep.
That's like, of all the things to watch someone stream.
Are we going back to 1998?
What's even better there, Craig, is he's having his donate $50 per pack, and they're not even getting the cards. He's keeping them.
My God, how are people?
That's a P.T. Barnum one, isn't it?
Yep.
Fooling his money. Holy shit.
Well, I mean, I will give it to DSP, and like, he might actually be the smart one here, because man, like, if you're, I don't care if he's a locale or not. If you're if you're giving someone $50 to open Pokemon cards, maybe you're the retard.
Well, that's the phrase in the community DSP's audience are a bunch of dunce.
Well then, more. I hate to ask this, but since you're rolling into this, what does that make you?
I am a detractor. I'm in the detractor end of it.
Yeah, but like detractors watch too, right? So.
Oh yes, but I don't give that fucker money.
Fair. That it. You got me there. So yeah, I mean it has
but yes, to be fair, I am slightly dented. I am crippled after all.
Yeah, but you have a legit excuse at least.
Facts.
At least to be dental. Hell, I mean you actually have more of an excuse than I do. Although, God, man, like, I'm not sure if you're crippled so much as your internet is crippled.
Facts.
That was.
You guys picked the right platform for it because Rumble pretty crippled.
Yeah. It.
That's okay.
I saw your comments about it earlier.
You'll get a kick out of this, Sam. You know how you told me to go over to Chrome? I switched over to Chrome, almost got it, and then switched back over to Opera, and then Opera decided to finally work.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, YouTube. I wish one of the. You want to know when YouTube started to go downhill? It was when they got rid of Hangouts on Air.
Hangouts was button.
Hangouts was the best, and yeah, I'm not paying Google $20 a month for Google Meet or whatever it's called. That is just as much cancer rate as Zoom is. Although I hear that Gab is supposed to be doing like a video conferencing thing.
Gab? That's run by a dipshit.
Yeah, I know. So it's probably gonna be just as dysfunctional as Rumble.
I mean, props to Torba for running a successful scam site at this point. You have to pay to post images. You can't. God, we got banned. Not me. Not we. Us. Who was it? Was it Bats? No, that was like Parlor.
Yeah.
Shit posting, as you know, is an art, and sometimes there's a fine line you have to walk. Whereas someone like Bats will walk in and drive down it, over revving his jacked up truck to smoke out everyone. So.
No way.
Yeah. He and my friend Ash, Bass Buzz will do the same thing. They'll just deliberately post the most obnoxious shit to try and get banned. And what's funny is honestly, I don't know what is going on with X either, because their algorithm, their latest algorithm is like really, it's retarded.
But I am getting less OF girls lately.
I noticed that. I used to get them constantly in the DM requests. And keep in mind, I keep as many of the filters off as possible on purpose, so that if someone needs to get to me, they can get to me. And it's wild how often that happens, where it's like, oh, this person has a genuine question. Instead of the ones who are like, how's your day? It's like, yeah, I know. No OF for me, thanks. You know, if you're walking on a beach, how many stars could you see? Fuck off, lady.
How's your day and what city are you from?
Yeah, yeah. That's the other one is, what's your real name? It's like, well, you know, that's the point where I know you haven't seen my fucking bio.
well, there's that, but then it's like the algorithm also the algorithm also like somehow like categorized. Like I know, like I.
My real name is Solomon Kane.
Well, but like I don't
Do
know
I
how.
have a flaming sword for you.
I don't know how. I don't know how X categorizes authors as like the same type of Bam as OnlyFans girls. Like I know that I joke about being a book whore on occasion, but like I don't
Oh,
expect.
don't worry. That's how we introduce you to the family and friends.
I don't. Well,
I know this book whore.
I don't expect. I don't expect Grok to take me literally and treat Amazon links as like as basically like cancer. Although part of me thinks that that's because Musk and Bezos hate each other. To a T.
Billionaires hate each other? No way.
Well, you know.
They have a really simple rivalry.
Well,
my wallet's bigger than your wallet.
Well, yeah, and also, I mean,
I have better toys than you. Look how mine go up into space instead of exploding in the launch pad.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is like I'm surprised that you haven't been poached by Blue Origin. Yeah.
Well, that's
honestly,
the thing. It's like Blue Origin did snipe that contract for lunar permanence. Like they're the ones in charge of putting a base on the moon, besides NASA. So like right now, you know, with the Artemis missions, we're gonna get up there, and we're gonna have lunar permanence of some variety, shovel in the soil by the end of this decade. Like that's what we're on track for. You know, assuming that we don't have stupid people decide to defund things out of nowhere in Congress, you know, and so on. But like, it's just we're gonna get there. You know, even if a fucking retard Democrat gets in power and kills the program, somehow we're gonna get there. And right now, Blue Origin has that contract secured. Elon, I guess, because he was doing the whole doggy thing, might have been selected out of it. But as far as I understand, that stuff, the stuff he was selected for before was selected under Biden, and he lost I think it was a blind bid contract for lunar permanence assistance. So SpaceX must have been too expensive, and after the blunder they had on the ISS, I guess Blue Origin felt like they needed to come back from that
yeah.
one. Although, let's see, there's also the Boeing thing. That was a disaster.
Yeah, well, the whole thing with Boeing though is like, to be fair though, is I think the as far as I understand it, like part of that is complacency though, just because like Boeing has been around since like forever.
Look, like when you walk onto a space station and your device fails so spectacularly that simply disengaging it from the airlock might permanently damage that airlock, you need to rethink some things. Like, should we be going into space?
Yeah.
That was the thing is you know, those two saints that got stuck up there for 8 months instead of 8 days. As cool as space is, I'm sure by the time they got home, it was like, you know, God, I gotta take care of my taxes. I miss my dog. I want my own bed again. You know, holy shit, I can't believe I missed McDonald's like this. Basic stuff.
Yeah.
The kind of thing where you go, like, if you ever been like out of country, and if you ever traveled like third world areas, you know, which I have done. There's there's the whole novelty of getting out there and doing stuff, especially if you're doing something like as a charity thing or humanitarian thing. Like that's the feel good part of it lasts throughout. But when you get home, you realize, holy shit, I missed my bed. And they don't get to like lay down and feel themselves press into a mattress or anything like that. They have to strap themselves in and hang out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've never been to any third world, places. The one time, like,
Sammy, if we went to any third world country, we'd have our wheels stolen.
well, yeah, there's that. Also, though, like,
I'd say this: if you go to the right third world area, and you're doing something like you're kind of in the community helping, like that whole element of things, that's like an inner city kind of problem like that we have here. If you're out in the boonies, so we were in third world Andros when I was in high school, third world Bahamas rather, at Andros, and fixing up the public school there.
Yeah.
And like you just have a bunch of happy kids who are just like excited to see someone from outside their circumstances. It's not that you're there to like fix shit for them that they're happy about. They're just excited, for the novelty, the same way you are to go down there and help out.
Right.
It's something new and that's interesting. But they're genuinely just like, you'll find a bunch of lovely people, far more than the assholes, especially if you're outside of like concentrated centers of power where you're going to have those massive disparities. Instead, just find everybody's poor. That's terrible, but kind of true.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I mean that kind of goes back to the whole Karmelo Anthony thing, though, because
yeah, you wouldn't find one of him down there. They're hiding if they're down there.
Yeah, well, also though, I mean, it goes to show that like all of these miserable, like, basically faggot activists, who keep perpetuating this like race shit. They don't actually want to fix anything. They just want to perpetuate, misery.
They are who was it, Booker T. Washington, or it was one of the early gentlemen in the Republican Party. There's a certain class of Negro that survives on, basically, to paraphrase, survives on strife.
Oh yeah.
And racism, and they will and it will last until they disappear, basically.
Yeah, I believe that was Frederick Douglass.
Oh, thank you. That was right. That was
yeah.
That was not Booker. God damn. You're right.
Yeah, it took me a bit to remember it too, but yeah, I mean this.
And then just go all the way up and say what you will about their ideas on race and so on, but they kind of nailed it. But it's one of those obvious things. It's staring you in the face, and it's clearer than the tip of your own nose. Malcolm X talking about the white liberal.
Yeah, well, I was actually, to be honest, I was actually a bit worried that the judge was going to get like intimidated by Black Lives Matter, and that this piece of shit
it's because they evaporated. There was like 60 of the same people out there out front the whole time during the trial.
Well, yeah,
like they did not bring the crowd they brought before because it was so fucking obvious this kid was a murderer.
Yeah, well, also this ties back to I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. I mentioned this earlier this week on the Monday show in regards to like all this pride shit in June. If you notice, like, all that shit has basically disappeared too, and a lot of that is because of Doge or Doggy as you call it, and them finding out that all this USID shit was basically to fund like activists with government money.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing when you scratch the surface of programs like USAID that it just turns out it's just a big slush fund for the people who put it into place in the first place.
Yes,
it's one of those absolute power corrupts absolutely moments.
Yeah, so as it turns out, both. So I'm never one of these guys that's conspiracy theorists are always right, but at the same time, yeah, who would have thought that Black Lives Matter was getting government money in a big
Well,
slush
when they
fund to
proudly say it and they show it,
yeah
like it's not. The thing is, like with BLM and other groups like that, it's not even like an open secret. It's like they tell you, and that's the part
yeah
that's actually that bites here is and sometimes the way they tell you is not as obvious because it'll be like a subsidiary in the background, some NGO that gets funded third party. Like they tell you who they're connected to. You just have to walk along the thread for like a half a second. They
yeah
don't hide this stuff very much because they've never had a reason to.
yeah same with all this DEI and Sweet Baby Inc. thing,
Yeah,
which
like
Now we just
Silver String Media was pretty well hidden because it was like 3 or 4 layers deep.
yeah, which by the way,
now we just need to find out who's funding Anita Sarkeesian.
well, which by the way,
Green people.
which by the way though, I don't. I'll have to dig more into this because I don't have anything concrete off the top of my head. But if you'll pardon the pun, I've received intel from some sources that Anita and company are really pissed off with IO Interactive right now, and how
Good.
basically
Fuck
they
'em.
don't like that basically they're upset that Bond is basically too masculine, and that
Oh no.
there's not
No,
enough.
it's funny because it's more their salami slicing bullshit. You see, the
Yeah.
devs purposely made Bond really masculine, but then they made the women all turn him down. Like, it's not that I'm saying you should put a sex scene in the video game, but like, there's not even like a hint of receptiveness to seduction. Like
Uh,
even reciprocal flirting that gets to the point where maybe something would have happened, and that's okay because that's just they're focused on the core story. They don't need to They don't need to flesh out all the little side details to get that done. But
well,
that's like the kind of polish that you would expect from formerly top tier like AAA studios.
I don't.
I don't know. The pool girls seem to be pretty receptive.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though. Is I don't want to spoil anything for you, but they don't show anything in the game, but there are two scenes where
Well, I'm not going to be playing it, so feel free to spoil it, and your audience can cry harder.
okay. Well, most
Sorry.
most of my audience being Bond fans, they already know. But there
Okay.
are two scenes where it is heavily implied, just like in the movies, that Bond does.
That he
That
gets
Bond,
the girl, right?
yeah, that Bond
How did you close it?
actually bangs two or three, which is supposedly what Anita and company are screeching at too. Is
Oh no! The cool guy on screen is the cool guy on screen. How could
yes,
this lore over decades somehow influence the video game in 2026?
yeah, yes. It also, now they're upset that Gen Z. It also
My God, he didn't even look like Connery.
and also now that and also they're upset now that Gen Z has also discovered the Pierce Brosnan era, which makes me feel old, because that's
Right? That's
our
childhood.
that's our era of Bond. But, you mean to tell me that Bond doesn't have to be super depressed and melancholic and having a
Wait, you're
midlife
telling me
crisis?
he could be a sex pest? Oh my God.
No way.
So as much as I love the initial Daniel Craig, as much as I love Casino Royale, Daniel Craig's run in hindsight was pretty
It was a bit of a
woke.
stark change.
Yeah,
Well, it wasn't. I wouldn't even call it woke. I would just say like they went for a very different theme on it.
yeah. Initially, they were doing something that was close to the novels, but Bond was never supposed to be like having a midlife crisis every
Yeah.
other
Well, when they got like 3 or 4
movie.
of those movies connected up in a row, like that's one of the things with the Bond movies in general is that like typically you might have a few of the movies connected by plot, and then eventually you'll occasionally have like characters come back,
Yeah,
like Valentine. But
yeah,
I mean, otherwise, they're fairly disconnected. Like you can watch one, and like you might, for instance, with Valentine as another example, like you might not understand why there's some kind of like tension and camaraderie between the two of them in the last movie he's in. But at the same time, like you don't need to know about the whole GoldenEye backstory, for example, to understand Valentine. You don't need to
yeah,
know the rest of the lore. You can just watch the one movie, and it's a popcorn movie.
yeah. It's funny. It's funny that you bring that up too, because they explained the lore with that in 2 movies better than Craig did with the black CIA guy whose name I'm
Right.
I'm blanking on right now. But yeah, no. So Anita and company are upset that IO Interactive actually made a good game.
Well, I,
So
I hope they stay permanently ass mad. They can go
yeah,
complain to the UN again about it.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think that the U. I don't think that Hopefully the U. Of course, it's the UN, so they probably didn't learn their lesson. But
You know, well,
Well, that's what I'm subtly suggesting here. Is they're just as relevant,
lessons, come on now.
yeah,
and they should be paid just as much. Zero.
yeah,
That should be an um, entirely voluntary international program. Like, I don't understand why we have UN soldiers. We should just have member state soldiers. Like,
well,
go back towards the NATO model. You can have collective standards on things, but like, why the fuck do we have to? It's like the EU. It's an economic zone that has defined concrete borders that it dominates. It has a pseudo standing military, and now it's aiming to have an actual standing military. It has defined citizenship within its borders. Like it's basically a fucking country at this point.
yeah. Well, the EU is basically is. I mean, it's been a joke, but it's basically becoming a third worldistan at this point. Uh,
Well, you just say the caliphate of the EU, sure.
well, that's what it is. And
So it's funny because the reverse comparison is also made with the USA that we're basically just an economic zone. We shouldn't call ourselves a country. Like you kind of have a point in the fact that there's 50 member countries to this, but the last time any of them tried to go ahead and flex on leaving, um, the country became a country of one country instead of like 50 countries. That was when we went from these United States to this United States.
yeah,
Don't
and
expect the Europort to understand that, but that's what it is.
yeah.
And their brains are all fried in 80-degree heat. The horror, and they don't have air conditioning. Oh God!
Well, I
Tell
don't.
me, fellow Florida man, what's the temperature been like outside?
Oh my.
Triple digits.
Yeah, it's been in the
It's a normal summer. They're wilting over there in the mid 70s. The horror.
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing is when Californians complain about the weather, I'm like,
Oh, dude.
oh God, it's 75 there. Cool. It was 91 today, and I didn't
I
leave the.
was just out there to help my little brother move, and I mean, one, it's nice to know I'm still stronger. Um, He's got a little bit more in the upper body area, but that's not what lifts the fridge. I mean, it helps that I'm a bit more of a fat ass than he is because I also have the weight to be able to tip the fridge. So, you get some, you give some. But yeah, it's like like 60s and 70s out there. It's like, yeah, this is terrible. It's like this all year round, is it? Oh God. I mean, we get 11 and a half months of growing weather here in north central through south of Florida. Over there, they get a full solid 12 months.
Yeah, with no humidity.
That was something I did notice, is that it was a bit drier in the Bay Area than I thought it would be, especially with the wind pulling in from the water. Like, you'd think that it'd be a little bit wetter, but not quite Florida.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some days you go outside here and it's like walking out in a sauna. Well, I don't need to tell you,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah.
So,
No, it's funny because his poor girlfriend. She's like, so which one do you like better, Florida or California? It's like Florida. That question.
oh yeah, I mean,
I mean, go back to not being a fucking communist state over there, and it'll still be Florida, but it'll be a slimmer margin.
yeah, well, I mean that's the whole thing is like people talk about how expensive it is to live here, and granted, I mean it's not nowhere's cheap, but it's like compared to SoCal, it's a bargain.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, it's crazy. In his house out there, the one that'll be sure he'll probably sell at some point soon. Like those little tiny homes out there, they're fuck tons of money. It's just a massive sunk investment just to live out there. I mean, it's good that he works for a company that'll pay him well enough, but like, holy shit, it's nuts because they, especially with Californians, they talk about how much they pay in taxes versus how much they receive. It's like, if you guys have all the stupid high paying jobs from artificially inflated rents and housing prices to be able to maintain your workforce there, you have to pay them a fuck ton more because nobody can build above 3 floors in most of California. So everything's fucking expensive artificially because they've priced themselves into that situation. So with that comes the higher tax brackets because they're the tax brackets the progressive assholes out there wanted. So, look, motherfucker, if you wanted to pay lower taxes, you wouldn't be voting for the higher taxes.
Facts.
And then you put yourself in a situation where your income necessarily has to be higher, even just to have the same lifestyle as you would in, say, Florida. So, of course, you're going to be paying more in taxes. It's funny because, and then you look at the per capita and net benefit over time, and you see that California is still in the negatives on average. But, that's their problem. And it's funny because a lot of the state is red, and a lot of the state kind of pulls its own weight, but it's just way, way overblown by basically L.A., San Francisco, and Sacramento.
Well, that's how. So I'm sure I know you know this because of Steve, and I think I've shared this with you, but I'm originally from Colorado, and that's
Right.
how Colorado.
Yeah,
is
when you talk
mostly.
about Denver.
Yeah, well, Denver and also like Boulder too.
Yeah.
Denver and Boulder and like also Colorado Springs. Interesting enough, the three most expensive places to live in Colorado, how about that? Are the three most like, left wing progressive, urban
No way.
centers.
And don't tell me, they've been in charge of those same areas for decades, and it's only getting worse.
Yeah.
I am. Call me Kaya. I am fucking shocked.
Yeah, now to be fair, like the Colorado GOP does not know what they're doing because,
They're all fucking high.
well, yes, in many cases,
Yes.
in many
Make the
cases,
pun.
literally. But yeah, the Colorado GOP is high because they still have this mindset. They still have like the mindset from like 2012, whereas, well, if they have the Mitt Romney mindset, where it's like, well, you
Put the
know,
dog on the roof. We're going for a drive. Yeah.
I wish I would. I no I no if they had that mindset, I would like applaud them. They had more of the mindset of well, the Democrats are decent people. We just have like,
We just
we just
have policy differences. No, motherfucker. They want to kill you.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, I wish it wasn't true, and I generally still like strive my best to assume that that's not the mindset of the people I talk to, and it just it's by happenstance of social circle that I generally am not talking to someone that rabid. But you still run into them in the wild, and it's still fucking nuts to have to
Yeah.
deal with that mentality.
Well, and also like most like the more reasonable Democrats that I know of who still consider themselves Democrats for some
Right.
re for some
Well, they're
reason.
politically homeless, and we've got two parties, so that's really their option.
Well,
I get
yes.
that.
Well, yes, but but most of
I
them
think they need a new name, though.
most of them though voted for Trump though the last time. That's
Too
the
bad.
thing.
There was a lot of that going around, but again, he's a '90s Democrat, so I understand.
Yeah.
And like I've told Steve and Evan, we need two functional parties in our republic. That
Yeah.
is requisite for a functional republic of our size and stature. We need at least two functional parties because competition breeds excellence, and that's
Yeah.
what our nation's based on. And
y-
we have two dysfunctional. We barely between the two of them, we have less than one functional party, and that's a big problem. Trump is not a problem; he's a symptom.
and
It's a
also
correction to a problem that is still present, and which
yeah.
we're going to be running into it again and again in the next decade unless we figure out a way to get around it.
Well, and
And
also
this kind of shit with letting these Marxists, not well, I say let, but like this emergent, dirt on the shoe, if you will, of these Marxists crowding outside of a courthouse to cheer for the fucking murderer. Like that is similarly a symptom. It's a societal decay,
yeah.
and it needs to be addressed, and it's difficult to address it. You can't just come in and pretend you're mom and dad coming down on the kids. It doesn't work. I mean, these are functional adults. They supposedly they're supposed to be.
Functional question mark.
Well, they're certainly able to take a paycheck.
Right.
Like this is not something we should be inviting into our common discourse. These people are supposed to be shunned, and they're not. Like I'm not. I'll say this, and this is of course just online, so it's not like it's fucking real life. But like, it has been heartening to see a lot of, and it might just be a bias of the algorithm playing in my favor on this, but like just a bunch of. I hate characterizing like this because I don't like grouping people in this way, but a bunch of black voices, in video responses to stuff that's been going on, outright castigating these people for
Yeah.
being the Looney Tunes dumb fucks they are, which
No,
is a good sign.
no, I noticed a ton of that today too, actually, and I'm actually glad that you brought that up. I
I like
am
that it's
all,
organic in its response too. This does not appear to be some sort of paid campaign. This is just people sharing their mind, and they're
yeah.
sane.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I think that's the other thing too is like we've heard the term black fatigue, and it's
I
not
got
until
Marxist fatigue, man.
yeah,
Fuck those
yeah,
people. Launch them into the sun. I'm done with them.
yeah, I had to explain to someone. I'm like, no, 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 no. It's not it's not like black fatigue per se. It's all these activists who happen to be
And
black.
the scum of the earth they defend.
Yeah,
Now it's funny. Um, Chris Rock had a great bit. I'm sure you remember the one I'm talking about momentarily, discussing the difference between black people and those I'm not going to
N-words.
bother naming.
yeah,
Yep.
So that I think, and the thing is that's true of just about every group of people. There are the people who are normal, and then there are people who are fucked in the head and will defend it using whatever dumb shit excuse they feel like. And in the black community, if you look back at the history of the country, there's plenty of good excuses to reach for if you're desperate to not take accountability for yourself.
Yep.
So, and I can't blame them for having those excuses at the ready because our country historically provided those excuses.
well,
But we live today, and those excuses are no longer relevant.
well, yeah. It's fun you mentioned Chris Rock because the other thing too is one of my all-time
And he's
favorites.
a fucking Democrat too. I mean,
Yeah.
he's Republican with his money, but like he is very much a Democrat.
Well, also though, like one of my favorite bits that everyone laughed at like 20 years ago was when he did that skit, which was how not to go.
Oh
Which
God, how not to go to jail?
Yeah, which is how not. Well, it's
How not to get
like
arrested?
yeah, how not to get your ass kicked,
That one, yeah.
and it was
It's just they had all the fucking cops surrounding him at the end, just beating
Yeah.
the shit out of him.
yeah, and it was
Rodney
basically,
King.
yeah, and it was basically like just don't don't be speeding, don't be like mouthing off to cops, just don't be doing dumb shit, right?
Here's the worst part: is as funny as that is, like that's basically the talk most young men get, and for some reason. There is a collection of young men, and of course, it's usually from the dad to the son. To not do dumb shit. Moms will do it with the daughters. A good dad will say it to his daughters too.
Yeah.
But like, you're supposed one or both parents are supposed to give you the "don't be a retard" talk at some point. Don't do stupid shit and fuck up life for everyone else and you.
Yeah.
Your main character syndrome needs to end at a certain point so that you can get on with your day, and that should be precisely when reality comes in and says, "Hey, I've got a 2-minute meeting we need to have. The cops here to say hello," that kind of shit.
Well, I think that's like 90% of like the issues that we have in society. Though is like
Like
everyone.
when a cop says to sit still, you do it. When the time to litigate or relitigate something is in a court, not when you're getting the fucking ticket. Just the thing you should want to do is get out of that situation as fast and politely as possible and not invite any more dumb shit. Short or yes and no answers to all questions. If you have a legitimate issue, maybe raise it briefly and then get the fuck out. Take your ticket, sign for it, and leave.
The main character syndrome thing goes even beyond that though, because I mean in the case of the guy who killed Charlie Kirk, that was like another incident of like he felt justified to do that because in his mind he's a main he's a main character who's
His name is hero protagonist from the novel Snow Crash, right?
Yeah, who's going to take out the evil, Charlie Kirk in his mind.
You know what he's going to do? He's going to wait for the perfect time to give all the trannies online something to talk about. He was killed by a troon when he was talking about being murdered by black people. It's like, motherfucker, you guys are all crazy, and this of course is their excuse for it. Or they're gloating about it. It's just asinine.
Well, honestly, I think that's another reason why the whole pride thing kind of died out too. Is between between the DEI, between the DEI funding getting cut and like all these troons being violent and basically they hijacked Pride Month from the rest of the gay community.
That's the thing is I know people within the alphabet community, and it's really sad because several of them have expressed before to me that Pride was an event that they went to because it was a place they could connect with people like them, and I got that. And then it turned political, and it started to reject them out of a lack of compliance with groupthink.
Yeah.
And it's a rejection from a place you know and love. And I was like, okay, I get that. It's community. I get that it's community. And it's been being taken over by people who want to make it entirely about them and their issues. And if you have a variety of people like that who are discongruent on these issues, then you have this fracturing that I would suspect would drive most people nuts. And it seems like it is. It's, for example, another one. You have the AAPI, Asian American and Pacific Islander, now has Hawaiian Islander, I think, in the middle of it. They've inserted that into the acronym now. So it's like AAHIPI or whatever the fuck. Then you have Black and Minority Ethnic, so BAME. You have a slew of these different acronyms to segregate people into different groups, and this is a Marxist tactic. Like it can be naturally emergent in other situations where you have a natural affinity group that you might fall into based off of an identity and background. But when it's forced upon people and it's commoditized in such a way as to drive division, that is 100% Marxist communist salami slicing in action. Like, it's really sad to see it, and it's a subversion tactic. It's meant to demoralize, and it's meant to cause chaos. And it's meant to do it under the guise of virtue. And the saying is, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The problem with these kind of situations is that you have all of the correct verbiage to draw in someone who is genuinely and earnestly virtuous, and to then corrupt their virtue with your bullshit politics.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's
it creates cynics who never want to do good by their community, and I mean geographic community in that sense. Never want to do good by their community again because you've sucked the virtue out of them.
Yeah. That's like one reason why I can't really speak for Mort here, but like that's why like I've never really participated.
I don't partake in the crippled community.
Yeah, same here.
Well, and on my end, the people with ADD, they have that magazine Attitude that was fun for a while. Like there's the whole mental health thing, depression and so on. Like I looked at these things. Like why would I want to involve myself with people who are going to speak on my behalf and say dumb shit?
Yeah, well, I mean, same thing with like a lot of the cerebral palsy. Support groups, and the cerebral palsy support Reddit is like that.
Oh man!
It's Reddit, so it's can't so like.
And if you're not left to forget it.
My expectations are already low, but somehow I feel like the bar is going to be kicked.
So like I went on Reddit and I'm like, okay, it's Reddit, but like, the format of Reddit, you would at least expect like, okay, well maybe I can find like, a thread with like, resources or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something
maybe they put that in their wiki page, for example.
Yeah, nope. It's all either depression porn or like, hey, I'm also like, non-binary and LGBTQ, and I'd like to hook up with someone here or something. It's like, this isn't.
Oh man.
Yeah,
this isn't.
I blame part of that on Tumblr going away.
The last group that I even tried to be a part of was people in wheelchairs and various reasons looking for people to hook up with.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, Reddit just
I'm sorry,
again.
fellow crippled people, but I want an able-bodied chick.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
you'll have your you will have Down's Daniela, and you'll be happy to have her.
No.
You'll have Downy Debbie, and you'll be happy to be. Sorry, Debbie Downer got a whole new meaning. That's
Donnie Debbie doesn't watch very well, so
like
yeah.
3 or 4 new meanings. I don't know, which Debbie Downer do you want? The one with downs, the one who goes down, the one who does both.
The one that goes down.
but
the one who's just generally cynical about the whole concept.
Those are called emos.
See, emo used to be distinct from scene girl, but I think both of them have been reabsorbed by goth somehow.
Yep.
And then I'm guessing that's going to split up again later.
Yeah, which
like a traveling band.
Yeah, which Max and Maxine. By the way, Max has like a god awful sinus infection, which is why he's not here. Yeah.
Hope he feels better soon.
Yeah, me too. I'm like someone smuggled in a bioweapon into Massachusetts. If Max.
Yeah, they're called massholes.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the bassholes over in LA.
Yeah. Well,
you see that little commercial from Spencer? I thought that was pretty fucking funny. He calls her Mayor Basura, and then he talks about the potholes in the road. He calls them bassholes.
Oh yeah. Well, funny bring that up. Well, I know you guys covered it last week, but I guess they found all these missing ballots in
yeah, we were still in the middle of counting when we were on the show last. They finished counting, so by majority enough to be able to call the election, or the primary, right?
So is he in still, or is he?
I thought that he's out, isn't he? Unless they had a drop of mail-in ballots for Pratt only. I'm thinking he's fucked.
Let me see here.
I know it's going to take a month till we actually have the final numbers, but it'll be by the end of Bass's next term that we know whether or not she won.
Yeah, probably.
Here's the real answer for you, Craig. I'll take the Debbie Downer that actually washes.
Holy shit! I was just to wrap it back to Karmelo Anthony. Tariq Nasheed decided to pipe up earlier, and just say immediately, you haven't washed your ass yet, have you?
Holy! Tariq Nasheed is still around.
Right?
Yeah, somehow.
Now see I had heard of I didn't really know about Hassan Piker until about like 2 years ago, but Tariq Nasheed, really? he's been around forever. So
yeah, he's back from the Talcum X era.
Why do all these weirdos have weird there's Tariq Nasheed, there's Hassan Piker, none of these people have have normal names.
Why are they all Star Wars people? I don't know. They're Star Wars Americans. Speaking of hyphenated shit.
Yeah. The only one who I was gonna say the one who doesn't have a weird name is Mia Khalifa, but I take that back. She has a weird name too. And
Mia Khalifa, she has a weird name and a porn history.
yes, which is
My favorite thing about that dumb bitch is her piping up about places who have already literally banned her from entry due to her past upon penalty of death.
Yeah.
And she can't go home to the motherland. She'll get fucking murked on entry.
But she was also like saying that like she hopes that vets here's my favorite thing with her is that like she's now pretending that she never had a porn career or whatever. But
Yeah,
then
she tried to say she was like coerced into it, blah blah blah, didn't know what she was doing. Like,
well,
motherfucker, you knew what you were doing. You just didn't expect any consequences.
well
You expected to have enough money where the consequences didn't matter.
Well, but then also like 2 weeks after saying that very thing, she then posted like basically it's just like an outrageously schizo video where she's like if where she's like if you're a veteran, I hope you blow your brains out after you jerk off to my to my non-existent videos, and it's like okay,
well, she's just that lovely of a person,
Yet her and Hassan are made for each other.
Problem with her is she's out of Hassan's age of attraction.
Right?
Yeah.
She needs to turn it back to 16 years old and go to a German brothel.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, fun fact, if you're an American and you go traveling specifically to take advantage of the lower age of consent in foreign countries and you fuck a minor, you're still breaking the law in the United States. That's one of those laws in the country that does not end at our borders. Specifically.
That's pretty much the whole reason why the Tate brothers like fled the country, isn't it?
Well, I don't keep up with them very much, so.
Well,
I would assume so.
Well, from what I understand, like the Tate brothers,
they were in Miami for a while, right?
They were.
And then I think DeSantis wanted to start investigating them, and they fucked off.
Yeah, and my understanding is that's one
of the reasons why.
That makes sense. They were dealing with like 14-year-olds, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, under the jail in an urn after they've been burned up.
Yeah.
I got no patience or time for that kind of shit.
Well, my favorite thing is like that whole entire grifter class that hated Charlie Kirk like 5 seconds before he got killed. They're the ones now screaming along with Gal Sharpton, aka Candace Owens, that Erica killed Charlie. So it's like yeah, you guys
10 minutes, did it?
Not at all. So it's all a grift for some people.
Well, I mean, sucks to suck, guys. The Tate specifically, stay the fuck out of our country.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Dan Bilzerian go either.
Oh, Bilzerian? He can go. He can fuck off to one of the other two countries he's a citizen of.
Well, yeah.
He thinks he's gonna win against Randy Fine. You need to be a fucking resident of the place you're running for, dipshit. He's. That's the thing that blows my mind. Is it's the same thing. I can't remember the other fucking grifter asshole was doing the same thing. What the fuck was her name? But yeah, someone else was saying they're gonna run and they're gonna win. Fishback. That dipshit. Yeah,
James
James Fishback.
Fishback.
Yeah. Him talking about winning the race. It's like, dude, you have to be a fucking resident in the state for a specific period of time to establish residency before you can even get on the ballots via signatures to be
Usually at
considered.
least like 5 years.
No, it's not that long. But at the same time, like you have to have established residency before you go out canvassing for signatures.
Right.
You can't get residency during the process. Like you have to already be a resident to run. And seeing as not a resident, not domiciled, runs anyway. Okay then. Like this has come up with in several other elections in Florida. Like this is something that they explain to you very carefully. So it's not that they're not aware. If they are, then they have goldfish memory or they have the cognition of a fucking muskrat. They just didn't retain it. Processing not possible.
Yeah. Well, when I first moved here, it took a year for me so I took a gap year between high school and college when I moved here, and the reason is I had to be
Tuition.
yeah like you can't even go to school at like state rates here without being like an actual resident. So why people think that the running for office here would be any different is kind of like,
well, I mean, like I said, they're welcome to do it. If they win, it's even funnier because then they're immediately disqualified, and the next guy gets it, I guess, or there's a runoff.
yeah.
If they should have just waited a year. If they're
Well-
gonna be, here's the thing: is if you're gonna do that, you should be dedicated enough to do it the right way and not cry about process later on.
Yeah. Well, also though, there are so many Jews and anti-communists here that
There's so many fucking Cubans here.
yeah.
until we take Cuba sometime in the next year or so.
Well,
but it's I love the whole Antifa thing. Just the Latin kings, like people who are already a pain in the ass for everyone else, but who are tired of that shit themselves. It's the Latin kings coming out and just beating the fuck out of them on the street and telling them if they come back around, they're dead. And all of a sudden, Miami had fewer of those problems.
Well, yeah, but also
Like,
it's
kind of makes me want to say, all right, you guys come up with like a legitimate laundry business or something, and we'll overlook some stuff for a while.
Yeah, it's also like, do you honestly think that like Dan Bilzerian or Fuentes or someone who's like an actual like white supremacist would last very long in the state between the Jews and the Latinos here?
Well, here's part of the issue is they'll very quickly Mamdani themselves. So Fishback, his brilliant idea, and I believe it's him, not Bilzerian, but it's easy to confuse the two morons. To claw back the investment made into Israel that has a 5% annual return, which beats inflation most years, right? That is a net benefit, and that pays for retirees. And yeah, it was Fishback because he said he wanted to take that money and invest it instead directly into lowering the price of housing. Like, how are you going to do that? Well, it's the part where you get to see that it's the fucking socialist mindset. This is where fascism and communism are joined at the hip. You see, instead of plowing it into some sort of program to do better, or just not charging as much in taxes, instead he wants to subsidize housing. In his mind, of course, would be for white people because why the fuck not? But he wants to subsidize housing in Florida using this money. It's like, okay, so you're going to take money that is right now paying for the retirement programs of people who are done working here with fixed incomes. You want to take a source of money that pays for that routinely at good rates every year, a known quantity, a fixed income, more or less in the same scenario here. It's a fixed income to the state that pays for fixed incomes to retirees. You want to take this reliable, known good source of money, remove it, and take the principal investment and redistribute it to the people through subsidized housing or subsidizing home sales.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just being a socialist for them. Like you're just having the government meddle in the free market to fuck with it.
Well, that's basically what
That will
Tom.
ultimately raise prices, as we've seen over and over and over and over again in this country and every other country that has had subsidized housing of any form. All it does is raises the floor of the housing market to a delta of approximately the amount of subsidized assistance.
Well, that's basically what Thomas Massey did. That's basically what he ran on was defunding, APAC or whatever, and then trying to do that same thing. And he
It's
was
funny. He's spending some of his, the lion roaring after it got stabbed. He's sitting there crying about the USS Liberty incident, having USS Liberty Day just recently. Like this incident has been investigated independently by our government and other governments so many goddamn times. We know for a fact what happened. Nothing he's going to say is going to make it any different. The only reason he is doing that is specifically to raise his base.
Yeah,
to signal to his base. It's like, okay, well that's fine and all. You're going to get your lobbying job after you get out of Congress. Whatever. Like that's just a little punch in the nose before he leaves. Don't care.
it's not even that. It's also like your state representative, like your district is in Appalachia in Kentucky.
Yeah.
In
It's
Kentucky,
not
like
fucking Israel.
like your base doesn't care. Your actual base that you represent, and I know because I know this because I know people like from his district. They don't care about Israel or any of this foreign.
My favorite part of that is that he tried to blame Israel for his loss.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite.
The massive Israeli lobby.
Yeah.
In his hometown. All right, pal.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from them like not investing in that kind of race as a primary, like the other thing is you talk about APAC, motherfucker. These are Americans.
Well,
Foreigners are not allowed to fund PACs, regardless of the fact that Republicans and Democrats both allow it to happen under the hood. Like on the surface, foreign governments are not allowed to finance campaigns in the United States. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Like APAC is Americans. You can talk about their loyalties and whatever, but they are fucking citizens of this country. Like you can say Israel works through them, fine, whatever, but at the end of the day, American citizens put American citizens' money into an organization run by Americans to then fund Americans in American races for elected office.
Yeah.
You can talk about their loyalties and so on, whatever, but at the end of the day, it's Americans participating in an American process, political process.
Yeah. Well, it is a real shame because like he used to be halfway decent, and
yeah,
what
I think he's still mutuals with Evan on X.
Yeah, well
Not that I don't think they've talked very much, but like.
Yeah, he and I were mutuals for a while until I literally tweeted at him. I'm like, and all I asked him was like, "Yo, when did you become the anti-Juiceberg?" Like,
Well, you see, I noticed that he's a
overnight.
pretty soft person. You know, no matter how big he grows his beard, he's still babyface underneath. I've noticed.
Well, yeah, totally. Like I didn't even ask it. I didn't even ask in like a mean way though either. I was just like,
Just a genuine question, like, hey, so what's going on with the whole Jew thing?
yeah,
I get that.
I was like, I mean, I was honestly kind of disappointed. I was like really like like and okay, and this isn't like a great example, but like in Kanye's case, I can kind of understand if you're in
There's
Hollywood
a bit of a
and
mental health aspect to that.
in your even
Like
so though.
I'm accommodating on that level. Like I get that this is a guy who has difficulties in his life and pressures upon him, and I get the artistic manner in which he's trying to call attention to himself to try and get the more subtle message out there by using a blunt instrument to get people to pay attention to him.
Yeah, well, and
I hear the part where he says, "Look at what they do to me. I can't talk to my son and all that shit," and then he goes, "They got Heil Hitler." Like, all right, so that's not a great way to get the message across, buddy. But I get the part where you're upset about your son.
and it's also kind of like yeah, I can imagine being upset like at your lawyer who just happen at your ex's lawyer who just happens to be Jewish,
And
but like
and I'll even give him credit for bringing the little bitty racket, the badminton racket, and the can of Yahoo, of Yahoo, to his little interview with that was the Alex Jones interview, right? Where he has his net in
yeah,
Yahoo.
yeah,
Like and wearing the mask. All right, we get the subtlety of that statement. It's not about you; it's about someone else. All right, and then you have that. Now, what he should have done is brought a jar of BBs, and then that way he could have said, me and BB here, and then you gone with that bit. But instead, he had his Netanyahu. It's like, all right, clever enough.
yeah.
Oh, you're getting rumbled.
Am I back?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. That was just my monitor deciding to go to sleep for a sec. But no. Yeah. I mean, at least Kanye had the excuse of being like semi-retarded. Like, but Massey.
He's clearly got BPD. Like, I'll give that. And it's. I get that he's an artist and eccentric, but he's clearly got some sort of. And I get it also.
Yeah.
Having a woman walk away with my kid and then just fucking with me in the background, that would probably drive me insane too.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the kind of ridiculous shit that's going on in the background. She probably just to get under his skin, called him, said he's acting like a dictator the once, and that's probably what sent him down the whole Israel road. That could easily be the case. It's like, you're acting like a Hitler. Well, bitch, I will.
Well, also though, like, I don't know. If you ask me, like, getting in a relationship with one of the Kardashians in the first place,
That was probably a pretty mentally ill move, in my opinion, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those asses are not worth it.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of like, well, gee, who could have seen this? Turning out the way.
What are you talking about? It was gonna work out for the best.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, like Massey, Massey though, like I don't understand like why he had like a mental breakdown all of a sudden. That was weird.
Well, I mean, his thing is he got involved with Rokana, who's a prick on his own. Massey has pretty consistently voted against Republicans. I mean, and not even like in a Ron Paul kind of way, where they just vote against everything because their entire purpose there is to be an impediment until government gets smaller. I get that. Rand Paul to a lesser degree because he's a little more grifty than his dad. His dad, Ron Paul, pure idealist, purely in their game for the ideal and purpose of his goals. Rand, credit to him, he's got to make money at the end of the day. I get that part. Ro Khanna is a piece of shit, and I know that Steve likes him. For a Democrat, he seems reasonable, but that he'll say all the fucking sweet words in the world to you, and then he'll go and vote the way every other Democrat's voting. So like he's kind of worthless. He's not like a Fetterman who has a spine, which again still blows my mind that he had a fucking stroke and came out smarter.
Right? Love it.
Whatever part of his brain was acting as the governor, holding the rest of it down, must have died off because holy shit, he's a proper politician.
Made fun of him when he got elected.
Yeah, I used to call him, Fatterneck, because he had that fucked up thing that was going on. Like the guy's legitimately impressing me in a way that I did not see coming. And it's not just because he agrees with stuff. Like he's doing proper politics, seeking compromise. He knows nobody's going to be happy, but that's kind of the point.
And
we're all kind of equally upset.
Yeah. No, I mean
he does politics the right way. His end goals, I think, are silly, but his heart's in the right place and his mind is improved.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of that. He kind of reminds me of that one comedian whose name I always blank on. The guy who used to call Trump like Pig Dick Donald and
Little Dick Donnie.
Yeah.
I just tipped the tongue myself too.
Yeah, but that guy.
He's Rappaport.
Oh Rappaport. Fetterman kind of reminds me of Rappaport in the sense that
all it took was October 7th for Rappaport to come around. Ridiculous.
But kind of like in a similar vein, it's like that was like the start for.
It only took the worst death of Jews since the fucking Holocaust for Rappaport to figure it out. Oh, he's on our side, America's side, and America happens to be allies with Israel. I guess he's okay. Like, dude. Shut the fuck up. It's like, all right. So what happened in D.C.? Oh, he took it from looking like a complete shithole that was rife with crime and solved it in 7 days. 0 murders. Yeah, we can just do nice things. We can have a nice country if you want to, Mike. You don't have to vote for the other asshole who's promising you the world and stealing it from you all at the same time.
Yeah. Well,
son of a bitch.
And selling paintings to fucking China.
Yeah, well,
how fucking that's the thing that blows my mind is how many fucking Jews need to learn this goddamn lesson the hard way before they'll stop voting for these fucks. Like you got a bunch of the conservative Jews and Orthodox Jews up in New York who've been voting Democrat their whole fucking life.
What?
Like you guys have to understand. After World War II, you left the concentration camps, right? You don't need to sit there and do what the fuck they tell you anymore. You can actually think before you vote.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Catholics though too.
I get that. Like there's in the it's Catholics and what's the other one? Not Protestants, but not evangelical, Episcopal, whatever. There's like several Christian blocks that kind of like lockstep vote for either Republican or Democrat.
Yeah.
And you'd think that the whole abortion issue would make it real fucking simple. I mean, not just for Christians, but for Jews too. Like abortions. Like, and the worst thing is you have these fucking Reform Jews that come out like, yeah, abortion is a Jewish principle. No, fucking isn't. it's listen to the Jew who threaded Jewish principles into Star Trek. Live long and prosper, dumbass. And not kill your kids and die off slowly.
Yeah. That's my other favorite thing is like is all these SJW weirdos who are saying, well, actually, Star Trek was communist. Was like
No.
was
No, it
like
was run by people who fucking hate communism.
yeah no
The later
yeah
ones you can say maybe, like the recent shit they've been trying to do. And I'm not even a Trekkie, but like I'm pretty like I know that they weren't fucking communists. Like
yeah
the people who were the actors, not communists. The showrunners, not communists.
yeah no it it saddens me that William Shatner is a Canadian because
I can see that, yeah.
because he says some pretty based.
I love shit.
It's a risk for him every time he opens his mouth.
Yeah,
It shouldn't be.
yeah. Then again, though, the guy is literally like 90. Like he's close to 100.
It's got to be funny if the Canadian government comes to you and says, "Look, you have two options. Either you can have medical assistance in dying because you're so old and we're worried about the stuff coming out of your mouth. It's a bit harmful. That signifies that you have mental health issues, and the only thing we can offer in your age bracket is killing you. Or you get the death penalty because the stuff that came out of your mouth was harmful, and we don't like that in this country, and we don't have a First Amendment here, so we're going to just kill you." Like, those are your options. It's not even cake or death. It's like die in agony or die in slightly less agony.
Pretty much.
That would be really shitty. And
that's a fucking, you know what that is? That's a bit of Hugh and Laurie as a skit. That's they should get the two of them together. Sorry, a bit of Fry and Laurie. They should get the two of those guys together. Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie. I don't know if you ever watched that bit of Fry and Laurie skits.
Yes.
That sounds like absolutely one of them. That is pure British humor too. It's like instead of cake or death, it's like, would you like death or death?
Oh,
but like, excuse me.
Oh,
by the way, in the wrong line.
By the way, Craig, did you ever watch the show House? Speaking of Hugh Laurie.
I finally did. I didn't for the longest time because my poor brother had this Klingon of a girlfriend. Stupid bitch is what she's referred to these days. through no fault of his own, she existed, and she became his girlfriend for a little while. And he finally, stuff happened and got to a point where they separated, and that's great. Everything went way better after that. But stupid bitch loved to watch House with him. And so I just didn't want to have a fucking thing to do with her. So they would go to the rec room with the big TV and watch it, and I didn't want to be in the fucking room because she was a stupid bitch. So I didn't end up watching House until well after the show had ended. But I finally went back and watched it, and it's a great show.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Well, yeah,
I kept getting told I'd like it. It's like unlike what's that stupid show with the Bazinga guy? Unlike that show.
Oh,
like
Big
I actually
Bang
did.
Theory.
Yeah, that Big Bang Theory. It's such a fucking annoying show.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like it's a midwit's idea of what a smart person is supposed to be like, and it's just really not fun.
Big Bang Theory ruined nerd culture by trying to
monetize it.
To monetize it and make it look cool.
Well, yeah, but
it did not succeed.
Well, and also by mainstreaming like all the worst stereotypes of nerds too.
True.
But no, going back to House. So I guess there was some woke journalist who decided to rewatch House, and it was basically like, and her whole thing was basically like, I don't like House because it's a show about a drug addict who's like politically incorrect, and he says all these like really insensitive.
Oh my god, he's mean.
Yeah, that was
He's not nice.
That was basically her whole. That was basically
that was her thesis, was it?
Yeah, that was her thesis, but no, it gets better because Hugh Laurie actually actually replied to her tweet and basically said, in house fashion.
Oh, I saw that just recently. Yes.
That was the entire point of the show.
He's not a good guy. Yeah.
Yes, he's not a good guy, and yes, he is deeply flawed. But that's the
problem with the SJW mindset, if you will. A character can't just have like deep flaws with those kind of retards, because a character must represent them or someone like them in their mind.
Yeah, well,
or it must be equivalent to the enemy. They need that kind of certainty. You can't have, and then of course, the best part about this is the persistent attempts to do the maybe we're the real monsters the whole time trope in the productions they do, and it always flops because they don't allow characters to have any complexity to them.
Right.
They all cardboard cutouts of the same dumb shit.
Well,
and House is complex as a character. He's not a good guy.
Well, House is Sherlock Holmes at the end of the day.
He has good moments. He's not a good guy, though. He's not evil outright.
Right.
He's just very flawed.
Yeah.
And he's not even like an anti-hero. There's some episodes where he is an anti-hero, but in a lot of it, he's the protagonist. But like,
yeah,
he's not meant to be like just a paragon for people to look up to.
I'd love for one of these wokesters to try and sit through a watch through of The Sopranos and do a deep dive and try and do a deep dive on that show. Because if they think House is bad, they're gonna cry watching The Sopranos. Or even
The Sopranos. Just have them analyze this.
Yeah. and they would probably hate.
It's a condensed version of basically the same premise, if I understand it right. I haven't watched The Sopranos.
Oh, really?
I have, but it's been years.
Analyze This kind of is the condensed version of the
like Analyze This and Analyze That are two of my favorite comedy movies of that era. Because the way they wrote that was so beautiful. They had the perfect actors for it.
Yeah, the difference is Analyze This. Well, The Sopranos started out as like a comedy and then leaned more heavily into the drama, but
it got kind of dark in some parts.
Yeah. The big difference is that like Analyze This, the guy actually becomes self-aware, whereas like
right
in The Sopranos, he just uses therapy to basically justify his bad behavior, which is kind of the point of. Which is kind of the whole point of the show is that psychiatry also has its flaws too, which a lot of these will.
Well, you tell me. Psychiatry is what gave us shit like Scientology. One guy who goes through a bad trip with a psychiatrist, figures out that he can just scam people for a religion, comes up with the book Dianetics. Don't worry, it doesn't have anything to do with the old ones. There's nothing schizophrenic about having a volcano kill everyone 1 trillion years ago.
Although I will say this, as an author, if I could,
pretty damn good, yeah.
As an author, if I could write like a series of science fiction books, and then somehow convince people that it's reality. and make a shit ton of, I mean, we would all be doing that as authors if we.
Well, I gotta
if we-
tell you, like, I would have serious moral issues with that because, especially if like it worked, because I would be laughing so fucking hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta understand the kind of absurd, dumb shit I would be saying in public. It's like, oh, so you found the ancient dragon ribs in the museum. Well, those were actually used by famed pharaoh proctologist Tutankhamun.
Yeah. No. What? Like most people my age at least, my introduction to Scientology was through South Park, and my favorite.
Oh, really? Mine was through Xenu TV. That was a long time ago, though. Mark Bunker.
No way. They actually had a. There was
So Mark Bunker went to Clearwater to expose Scientology because they fucked with him. And
yeah.
there's that great video of those retards just kind of standing there staring at him outside of like the street that was cordoned off, asking him what his crimes are. It's like, what are your crimes, Mark? Come on, tell us. What are your crimes? Turns to the other guys, you look like a wife there. Yeah, it's like you abuse children. Like they're it's hilarious from the outside of the interactions looking at it because they look like the fucking Three Stooges and they're missing one. They're just stupid people, but they're indoctrinated and they're actually dangerous because was it Lisa McPherson or whatever who they found in the hotel dead, covered in roach bites because they just neglected her until she perished. She died of starvation, tied to a bed. Like they have a body count. It's much larger than one. It's multiple digits. And it is genuinely a terrifying organization. So Mark Bunker was down there, and he'd already gotten the documents well before South Park. But it was funny to see South Park blow it up, and then people like Idris Elba get pissed off and say, "I'm done with this shit. I'm no longer chef." My
favorite thing was in that whole arc that was when they're explaining Scientology and on the screen at some point you see a caption of where it's like yes, this isn't satire.
This is what they actually believe.
Yeah.
So that came from a document release, and so that document release happened. Mark Bunker was there, and he had talked to them about it, and the Thetans, and holding the soda cans to do the reading. Like he'd sit there and talk to them about their doctrine, and these are people who have not paid nearly enough money to the organization to escalate up high enough to have this information revealed to them, and they're getting it spoken. They're getting it shouted at them by people who are there to fuck with Scientologists. It's very funny in that part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Xenu, the Lord Xenu shit on South Park. When I saw that happen, I was thinking, there are so many people who are feeling so vindicated right now because South Park had the kind of spine to go out there and laugh at these people.
Yeah.
Like, perfect.
Yeah. Yes. South Park used to do like a bunch of funny shit. Now.
Well, you notice that they never went after Obozo, but they had plenty of fun with Trump under Trump 1.0. Like,
yeah,
they could have done more, and I appreciate their political bent because I gotta tell you, the way they portrayed Trump, pretty fucking funny. Using
Garrison.
Yeah, Mr. Garrison and Mr. Hat was involved with that. The way like Garrison is a great character to use as a proxy for president and to do dumb shit. Like I appreciate that whole entire point to the show. Like that is genuinely funny.
Well,
I wish they had done anything like that with Biden, anything at all, because they could have kept Mr. Garrison and just had him like have the wrong hormone mix or have a consequence of losing his nuts to Kyle's knees exploding. Like, they could have taken any of a number of roads to get to a facsimile of Biden, which would have been great. Like, just have Timmy like go through an age experiment that fucks up, like a time traveling experiment that fucks up, and he comes out geriatric for a few years. And just have him, Mr. President, this, that, and the other, Timmy, and then nothing happens, right? They have to sign the thing for him. Yes, Mr. President, signs it. Like, there's so many ways that South Park could have revived itself with the bullshit that was going on with Biden. I don't know what I'm also happy if those guys just fuck off and they're done with South Park. I think that's a passion project for them, and if they ran out of passion, I get it. And I understand the artistic aspect of it. You have to have the desire to do the art, and if they've run out of that steam, even if they come back later, it's fine. You expect them with their politics, they would have had oh god, we're too tired of this for Biden, and then come back for Trump again.
What? Yeah, the way I understand it is they got paid like a crap ton of money off royalties, and now they have fuck you money. So they basically they actually bought out Cos Benita in Colorado, and actually they actually restored it, and now it's actually supposedly like an actual decent restaurant now.
That's really funny.
So like yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I think that's why they've kind of moved on from South Park a bit. So
like I said, though, I just think is we should be able to use soon enough, because someone just like $2,000 made a feature-length AI film. It's probably ass. To be fair, my guess is that as a film, it probably is just shit. I couldn't tell you, but we've had pretty damn decent South Park shorts that have been made, a couple minutes long South Park shorts in the last few months, posted on to places like X that were entirely made with AI.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, soon enough, South Park. If I was one of those guys, I would lean into that, and I would make a South Park AI that just generates, like, especially if they got fuck you money, they don't need to run it as a resource. They could like ad fund it, or just sell it off to some other network or whatever. Like, as a base product, they could just make a thing where you just put in a stupid premise and it shoots out a 20-minute long South Park episode, and then everybody would be watching their own personalized. This is like the end goal, and not the end goal. But this is one of the end points of media that people are trying to resist against. Is that in the future, a couple decades, we're probably going to get to a part where there's a coexistence between different segments of media, and one of them is going to be personalized media for entertainment.
Yeah,
you'll be able to put in a premise like Jack Nicholson as Superman beats the shit out of Robin. Beats the shit out of Louis C.K. as Robin, and then make a 2-hour feature film of that. Have a whole story arc and everything. Wonder Woman going, "Oh no, don't do it! I know he flashed me, but I said yes." Think just
yeah.
like you can see, it's gonna become like personalized media in that sense. And one of the things people are gonna start swapping, you'll find later on, unless of course they lock it down, because that's one of the ways they do dumb shit. Because why would you accept people throwing money at you when you can nickel and dime them for less and piss them off? That's the AA mafia way.
Yeah.
But one of the ways going forward you can see people will do things is they'll probably end up saying, "Hey, I generated this great movie last night," instead of "I saw it."
Well, that's
here's a link to it.
Well, I don't know if this is actually something I've been meaning to bring up on a couple of shows. But I keep forgetting is have either of you seen any of those like Star Wars AI shorts on YouTube at all?
I haven't seen any of them.
There are
I
I can link you to a few of them. I'm not going to do it on stream because we're on YouTube, so you know.
Frowny points, huh?
But but long story short, there are all these different YouTube channels who basically they do AI, like some of them do like full length like AI Star Wars movies. Um, basically like taking some of the expanded universe, books and
Oh, so they
whatnot.
actually follow the lore instead of do the
Yes.
Disney abomination.
Yes, and that's and so that yeah, and that's
Now, I think you might recall from the past with our GGP group the gentleman who's sadly passed, Chris Beach. So
yeah.
Beach used to be on our streams. His response, of course, to episode to whichever fucking one it was Space Wizards. Which I said, yeah, but Leia was flying without a broom in space, without any air, and not getting the Arnold Schwarzenegger on Mars treatment. So, I get it, Space Wizards and all that jazz, but like they still seem to respect the idea that space is a fucking vacuum.
Yeah. Well,
So I get that aspect, and then there's what Disney did, which is abysmal.
yeah, well,
I kept getting told that Disney is going to be better than China. The problem, of course, is that Disney became China.
yeah,
So
in like in Leia basically Mary poppincing her way through uh through space. Was it that wasn't even the worst part of the movie. The worst
right.
the
Worst part was
worst
the
part
pink-haired retard.
well the worst part of that movie was the worst part of that whole trilogy was they made Luke a bitter, grumpy old man, which in hindsight really worked out actually because that's
Actually, hell yeah, it's reflected in reality.
yeah.
Well, no, I thought having Luke be the bitter, like parts of the story that they built up work, and they still fucked that up. The Mary Sue, they could have worked around that, could have workshopped it and got it more in line with the a reincarnated kind of there's like the reincarnated birth story of the hero. So if she followed through the same kind of steps that Luke had in order to get to Luke in the first place.
Yeah.
Because Luke had a growth, even though he is somewhat of a Mary Sue himself, he struggled to get to where he was. Like and that's shown in the film. Not like it's not montaged out.
Right.
She didn't go through those steps. She just kind of instantly has the ability to do shit. And like that's all well and good, but if you wanted to have that kind of character, you could put in a better story than waving your hands frantically and saying, "Look, it's Luke."
Right. Well, and so with the Star Wars AI, that's kind of what a lot of these creators have done, even with the neutral, even with some like the newer, stuff like Reimagine it's like it's AI, but like the people who have written it have taken more time, probably also generating a lot of the scripts with AI too. Have put like better character development into Star Wars.
Well, it's funny because there was such a split with the prequels, and I didn't mind the prequels, but I also knew that like I didn't have the mindset of people who watched Star Wars when it came out, the first one.
Right.
And so like I was like, the prequels weren't that bad, and then I saw the sequels that they wrote. I saw the first two. I'm not gonna ever see the fucking last one. Well, I saw the first two sequels, and I thought, in my mind, I'm thinking, damn, we got lucky with the prequels. And I see people who are upset at the prequels going, you're gonna make me fucking defend these, aren't you? Yeah, that's a you problem, but yeah, I think that we didn't have it so bad, and they're still upset about the prequels. Like, all right.
So my mom, when she was in college, she saw like the first Star Wars when it was like in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And she took me to see all the prequel movies when I was a kid. So she has seen basically all of the Star Wars movies up until like she had seen all the Star Wars movies in theaters with me, and when the final sequel movie came out afterwards, she was like, well, that's disappointing that 50 years and it ends in a whimper, not a bang, pretty much. And it's like, yeah, I suppose that would kind of be a major bummer. So,
Well, I'll say this. It's really difficult to get an old man in a bed to go bang when you're putting a pillow over its head and leaning down hard.
yeah. Well, I mean, Star Trek has kind of suffered the same fate from what I...
Yeah, Andromeda.
From what I understand.
What the fuck was that? That one where like the first episode was just like them giving some bitchy lecture about toxic masculinity or whatever the fuck. It's like,
yeah,
that's what every cadet wants. They want some fruity colored hair, butch bulldyke lesbianoid coming down on them for existing. Like, all right, cadets, you're a scum of the earth, but only if you're this gender.
I had a. That reminds me.
I need a lecture about fucking consent as the first thing when I get into the cadets program for fucking space exploration.
Yeah, that reminds me. I unfortunately actually had like a college class that was exactly like that, and I didn't take any stupid like courses that like intentionally focused on this. This was supposed to be a business and marketing course, but somehow one of the first lectures that we got was diversity in like ethics in business, and it was basically just like shitting on men and basically white people in business. And it's like, yeah, none of this shit is gonna help me write a business plan in the future.
So when I had to go through that kind of shit in grad school, it was a little more. It was more formalized as that was kind of part of what was going on. Obama, in response to whatever the fuck, had signed basically if colleges wanted to get funding, they had to have specific types of training for employees and students.
Well, yeah.
And so in 2015, we had the big sexual harassment class everyone had to attend. They had several sessions of it. I went in there and I sat there and I was watching it, and they have the people from different departments talking to us. And of course, there's the fucking feminazis who were in part of the crowd who cheered when some things were spoken about. But then, like, the one thing that pissed me off the most was there was the Title IX office. There's an office specifically for Title IX shit, Title IX compliance on campus. And they said, if somebody comes to you with a sexual harassment or rape complaint, something of that nature, to not tell them to go to the police, and to tell them instead to go talk to the Title IX office.
Yeah,
and that is precisely the moment when I decided never following that fucking rule. Because the first thing I'm going to do is comfort them and tell them, hey, it's okay, you're in a safe place. Let's go to the police and get this shit figured out right away. Like, yeah, that is the proper response, not you should go talk to the Title IX office and start a civil motion through the university. Motherfucker, an assault is a criminal act.
Yeah. I was
And the longer you wait, the less likely it is to be solved. Like, that is just, it was so, and they were so certain when they said this shit, and the feminoid in the audience cheered for it. I was like, what the fuck are you? I almost walked out. I couldn't because if I'd walked out, I wouldn't have gotten credit for it. It's like I took
yeah.
the time out of my fucking day to be here. I'm gonna be here, but holy shit, I had to bite my tongue.
Yeah, I literally had the
This is with
same
the chief of the police department standing right there next to him. That's what blew my mind is the police signed off on this idea.
yeah.
Fucking mental.
Yeah, no, I had the same thing happen my freshman year of college, which was in 2015 exactly. So yeah, that's
Fucking young. Sorry.
so so yeah,
You child.
so yeah, that's exactly when all of this shit popped off was like
Yeah.
the mid-10s. So
That was. I just remember having to do that training. My PI, reminding everybody we have to do this is like, oh god damn it. And they said, okay, well, I think there's only like 2 sessions left. Why don't we all just go ahead and let's just get this over with? It's like, anyone else have anything to do? Nope. All right, good. Let's go. Like we had our meeting, we just went, and oh man, I was so ready to just fucking leave. There's the basic shit like no means no kind of stuff. Yes means yes, etc.
yeah,
And there's then of course the police guy is unfortunately standing next to all of the funny color haired retards, so he can't exactly say like, look, we know that sometimes nonverbal is a thing, but like be smart about it. Like not even any of that, just very clear. Yes is yes, no is no. Like okay, as a police guy, I can understand he needs that clarity, and dumb young children with emotional issues. They probably need that clarity, and then adults are gonna have. There's gonna be retarded adults, and they're not gonna have that clarity. Whatever. And that's all normal shit.
yeah.
But the whole Title IX thing, ooh lad, it's so anti like reality.
Yeah. I remember. So when it came to the yes means yes and no means no, thing, I guess I that was one of those things where like
Well, that came a little bit later. The yes is yes, the affirmative consent requirement. But yeah, I mean, anyway.
Yeah, but
Sorry, go ahead.
but when that came out, I guess that was like one of those things where like I was thinking something internally and almost like muttered under my breath, because when they said that, I was like, I guess I whispered a little too loud and like
Yeah, one of those George W. Bush moments. Oh, I'm sorry. The inside words became the outside words. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was like, duh, no fucking shit. That's how. That's how.
Is that what words mean? Help me out here. I don't understand the damn thing you're saying anymore.
And next thing I know, who said that? And of course, like and of course me being in a wheelchair, I was just like, I was able to like pretend that like, oh, I didn't say anything. But then like for the rest of that like course, basically I adapted the whole Charlie Brown adults talking thing where yeah. Which when I was a kid, I never understood what that thing was, but as I've gotten older, more often
makes a little more sense, doesn't it?
More often than not, there are moments where someone will just be talking, and that's all I'll hear.
And they have nothing to say.
Yeah.
So the thing, I learned early and was impressed upon me by my parents when I came time for me to rant about some things when I was at home. was that principals don't get degrees or principals don't get grades. The coursework does.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you just have to suck it up and say the bullshit back in order to get the A and get the fuck out of there, because then you never have to deal with it again.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. Yeah.
It's just easier to sometimes it's to go along to get along, because it frankly isn't worth the battle in one classroom at one university for like one semester. You know, if it's the whole fucking, if you had the same guy over and over again, yeah, sure, build up your rapport, maybe clarify principles or what have you. But if you just have to deal with if this is one stupid obstacle to get your degree and get done, why waste any extra brain cycles on getting that stuff done than you have to?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, kind of got a point.
Yeah, no, I learned that the hard way because I took a freshman English class and
Oof. I'm so glad I tested out of that shit.
and well so the crazy thing is when I was applying to college, like so back in Colorado, I actually tested my GPA in Colorado was high enough to where like I tested out having to take that in Colorado schools, but because of Florida, like they didn't accept my
you got fucked, didn't you?
yeah, so that was like the only yeah, so that sucked. The other thing that sucked was I had a professor who decided as like our final our final project in that class, she decided to like have us write a paper on climate change of all fucking things in an English
Let's just guess the hair
class.
color now. It wasn't natural.
No, worse yet, she was like one of those like she was like in her 70s too, so she was basically like one of those like gray-haired like
So she was used Q-tip. Got it.
well, no, I think she was like one of those. Well, yeah, she was, but she was also like one of those like Weather Underground, like.
Oh, she was a communist.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was like one of those. She was like
Blow
one
it
of the.
communists. Got it.
Yeah, she was like one of those.
Terrorist, I'd say.
Yeah, she was like one of those left. She was like one of those leftover like reactionaries from like the '60s who got like
the ones who blew up the Capitol building. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
they had to do it twice because the woman couldn't do it the first time.
Yeah, I love
that aspect of it. They are so incompetent. They had to do it twice. Why? Because they got the ratios wrong and they only blew up the toilet.
no. As I later joked with one of my friends, she was one of those. She was one of those Marxists that terrorized college campuses, and then later on terrorized again by becoming a faculty member later on.
Yeah, and you wonder why. You wonder why so many more of those brainlet peons come out of the universities. It's because when they can't find a real job on the outside, and they've gone back in, they got their master's in education or whatever, they just stick around and hang in any department. It's amazing. A real department that does real work for the university, that has professors doing actual research and things that matter, the grants they pull in, about half of it gets taken off as overhead to the general pool for the university, and that pays for the administration and also departments that end in studies or science, except for, of course, materials science and engineering, or materials science. So aside from like that, anything that ends in studies or science is not actually about science, and it doesn't actually study anything. They just kind of bloviate and look at their own navels, and then at the end of the day, they steal money from the rest of the university, and they get some government grants on occasion that pays for like one grad student. But they churn out all kinds of Marxist communists. That's their whole point in the university system. is to generate a pretext for a communist revolution.
Why
Might have African American studies because the black man's being held down by the white man divides society that way. They have Middle Eastern studies because the Palestinian is being killed by the random white guy in the middle of Burbank, California.
Yeah, well, for you, it must be a huge pain in the ass because, like you can say that you're a doctor, right? And then, which, like, that's something that you can say. But now you also have to share the spotlight, at like conferences.
With the person who got a doctorate in underwater navel gazing, yes.
Yeah. That must be a real pain. That must be a real pain in the ass on occasion. I would imagine.
See, that's where you have the distinction because a competent person such as myself, I don't base my self-esteem on my title. So
no.
If I meet someone new, I'll say, they'll say like, "Hey, Dr. Mance," or whatever. I'll say, "Yeah, Craig's fine." Whereas a person from one of those departments, of say Dr. Biden's ilk, they don't lead in by saying, "Oh, Jill's fine." It's Dr. Biden.
Yeah, no,
If someone says Mister, I don't give a shit. Like, I was a Mister for a long time. I'm fine with it being there now.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I much the same way. But it's like for me, it's like when I'm talking to people and they're like, "Well, I'm an author too," and I'm like, "Okay, well, what have you
books you write? Yeah.
What have you published?" And they're like, "Oh, well, I wrote some erotic fan fiction on like."
I have this one Wattpad story I wrote.
Yeah, I have this one.
It's not a werewolf. He
Yeah.
He raped a chicken. Chicken's name was Jessica. It looks just like me. Has the same color hair.
Yeah.
And then I went to this milking farm with a bull.
It's like stuff like that. I
have this one character named Lilith that has the same estrogen that I take.
My ego isn't like hugely tied into the fact that I'm an author, but at the same time, so
we're not going to be talking editing tips then. Got it. Thank you. Lovely.
Yeah.
I'll see you next time. Never.
Yeah. I would imagine that doctors' conferences kind of go the same way for you.
Well, thankfully, the field I'm in is relatively well insulated from that kind of stuff. Relatively. So you still have a bunch of professors who ignorantly... it's amazing. These are people who have to do engineering. Like, at the end of the day, the equation has to balance. Like, if the bridge falls down, then the math was wrong. Like, that kind of shit. Like, reality has to set in. And yet... you still run into these college professors at the more academic conferences that insist that for somehow they're communist or socialist utopia. Usually they're not communist, they're at least socialist. They haven't picked a side in that war, but it's all the same side. So they're still fucking somehow socialist in their beliefs. It's like, okay, everything else you do during the day, energy in equals energy out, etc. Like you have to balance the equation. For some reason in their mind, we don't have to worry about money if money becomes not an issue. We could just give everyone universal basic income and it won't fuck the economy. It's like you know how to solve complex equations, and you didn't think for 1 second that maybe the fact that money is representative, like it used to literally be. It was a decoupling of power from ownership of land. So that used to be a zero-sum game, but now it's the balance of the economy in the real world. Like, it doesn't work if everyone has $1 billion, then nobody has $1 billion. Then bread's $1 billion, right? Like, we saw this happen with the hyperinflation in Venezuela. And these are the same morons who go, yeah, but Venezuela was so nice before. It's like, yeah, until your stupid ideas bankrupted it. At least they know how to squish plastic well. That's all I'm saying at the end of it. At least you guys are good at the thing you do. Because if you weren't, you'd be fucking up something else.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like the economists who say, well, communism theoretically can work, and it's like, yeah, on paper,
If you assume that humans are not involved, I guess,
maybe.
yeah. The problem is, when you try to do communism, that you have to do it with humans. Communism works great for ants. You'll notice.
Yeah.
And then, of course, along comes a lawnmower. Or ant poison. That's the other one is communism suddenly doesn't work out so well when the one ant brings in the poison and everyone gets an equal share of it.
Yeah, that
From each according to their ability to each according to their needs. Dead.
Yeah, which happens that happens a lot. So
Oh, of course it does. We're in Florida. Fire ants, man.
oof, yeah. Fortunately, I haven't had a run-in with any of those bastards.
Well, I'm not going to recommend you to do it, but if you park out in the field and wait a while, your wheels will probably get covered in them.
Yeah, I'm not. Believe it.
Not looking forward to that, are you?
Believe me, I'm not. I'm not looking for that now.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Now, with that being
Oh, and
said,
they do not do. Now they kind of do, but they don't actually do what they represented in King of the Hill. They don't all crawl on you and then all bite at once. They're biting you the whole fucking time.
like if I ever have any enemies or anything that I need to interrogate or something, then yeah, I would.
Yeah. Just strip them naked and drop them on the ground with their balls near one of the nests.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So,
Oh
which
no, formic acid! Ow! Cry harder and then tell me what I want to hear.
yeah, basically,
That would be the basis. That's the reason, of course, for the genus name Formica. Is the sting they have is formic acid. So think vinegar, but slightly more acidic and not the same flavor. Like, don't drink it.
yeah. That seems fairly obvious. But then
So
again,
as the same way vinegar comes from ethanol, formic acid comes from methanol. So one less carbon involved.
yeah. Well, that seems pretty obvious. But then again, there was an entire generation of kids that ate Tide Pods. So
Yeah.
Wasn't that your
Now,
generation, Sam?
to be fair,
no, that was the generation after mine.
to be fair, I come from the generation that straddles lawn darts and giving kids pop guns and pea shooter guns, which could be cobbled together to make really shitty real guns.
Well,
That was back when people filled. That was back when my dad would recycle his range bullets. Um, I straddled that generation and the generation where if you went to the pool, everything is stranger danger, and you're not allowed to eat ice cream within 30 minutes of going in the water, and wear a helmet, shit like that.
yeah,
So Tide Pods, the Tide Pod people would have existed back in my day. They just wouldn't have existed for very long.
yeah, yeah. So I straddle like the millennial and Gen Z
Yeah, so
line.
I'm from like just after Gen X when people were recoiling in horror at the fact that millennials exist.
Yeah,
And then my older brother he's like 7 or 8 years older than me, and he's born in 1980, so like he's a fucking millennial, even though he doesn't want to admit it, but he's still basically Gen X.
yeah,
The whole no shits given thing. shit's the way it is. Like, we grew up at the time, so we grew up when it was still normal to go outside and just, your parents would just say, fucking go outside and play. And then you just went outside and played, and, they assumed you're okay because
Go outside, come back when the streetlights come on.
Exactly. That's literally what happened. Like, that's said as like a saying. Like, you literally, you could hear the relays tick and you'd see the sodium lamps come on, and you knew, get your ass home for dinner, otherwise you're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
There's a lot
My
of in that era, but at the same time, there was a point in that era when they decided to change the water standard, and taking a drink out of the hose suddenly changed. Like, it used to be, you could just get water, clean drinking water everywhere.
right.
Any hose. As long as they ran the hose for a while, like, the water was good.
Right.
That just drastically changed out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it literally changed, and that's what baby boomers still don't understand. It's like they're like,
Oh, yeah,
well,
the same thing happened with, like, the housing market, with getting a job these days. I can tell you personally, still looking for work right now, that
yeah,
getting a job drastically, like, and it's not entirely like the company's fault. The fact that people can farm out blasting companies with a shit ton of resumes, like, you can go out there and send a resume to 500 companies. That means they're getting one of 500 resumes from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of people.
yep,
And they have to parse those with a limited HR team, which, mind you, shouldn't exist. But at the same time, they're taking the whole burden of that job, where the hiring manager in the department would otherwise have to take that job. And the thing is, the hiring manager is not a unique role. It's the role of the person looking for a person to help them on their team. They're just a manager of a team. And if all they're doing is parsing resumes, they're not managing their team. That's supposed to have HR for, to give them a short list. And it's really fucked up, the way that things have been skewed in that fashion. It's not like, there's only so many jobs in this area, and then you have to move to another area to find work. You can't just show up in town and get a job unless you go into, like, McDonald's. And even then, in some places, they don't have time for you.
yeah. Well,
It's
well,
nuts.
what's really a shame too is, like, so all these HR departments that, like, claim to be like diversity hires, and whatnot. It's funny because I am, like, I really, neither Mort and I, we've talked about this. We should be we should be able to use, like, diversity, things, being disabled,
Sure.
but it doesn't count for shit anymore because we're disabled, but we're also white and we're men.
Well, the other
So
thing is, when they ask about that
For
on
straight,
like a
straight
form,
white disabled men.
when they ask about that on a form, they are legally not allowed to consider that, but they ask it to follow the reporting requirements for the U.S. government, who wants to know about the distribution of people with certain characteristics and jobs. Like, well, if you want to know about it, then it must count for something. So why is it not counting? Like, and I'm not saying that it should count as something, but, like, the fact that, like they want to know about it, but they don't want anybody to be able to do anything with that information. It's okay, so that seems like it's silly and unfair, versus just being unfair if somebody was able to say, well, you're white, so you should be hired, or you're black, so you should be hired, or you're disabled, so you should be hired.
well, they say they're not allowed to consider it, but the thing that,
They
like,
absolutely do.
Depending. They're not allowed to see that on the form. That's actually one of the benefits of the computerized era, is that those kind of automated questions for government compliance typically are not reflected in the readout that the hiring manager or the HR manager are able to see, unless you, like, specify it on your resume or what have you, which would be weird.
yeah, but like, okay, so I'll give you an example. And I've explained this on the show before, but so I was applying for a position to be like a technical, content producer for a local company here. And on paper, like even though I just graduated college and like I didn't have much work experience outside, like I had all the qualifications on paper. But one of the requirements for this position was that I be able to lift, like
50 pounds for
50
10 minutes a
pounds.
day or whatever, right?
Yeah, which unfortunately is like even for office jobs now is a requirement for like a lot of these.
Well, you might have to move your chair back from the desk.
Right, which
Wild.
I can do that, no problem, but it's like yeah, I can't, I can't do back
Right.
in
Yeah,
well
I get the whole nerve issue and so on.
yeah,
Like-
then sorry, we're not, we can't hire you for this position, and it's like really, like you can't just have someone. Are you that understaffed that you can't get like someone else in the office just to do that, just to do that,
it's like you might have to lift more than one case of pens at a time into the resupply cabinet.
Yeah, and it's
boggles the mind.
Yeah, and so it's like okay, and so people wonder why so many people are freelancing because of stuff like that. So, but yeah. So
yeah, well, it's the raw end of it, but at the same time, like I appreciate that there are things that, well, for example, Hollywood, there's a very clear subjectivity to the hiring process. Either you're like a good fit for the role or not, regardless of how good of an actor you are. Say you're trying to do, I don't know, Hercules or Achilles, you might want to have a man for the role. And we see how it's changed slightly. And you could call that progress. I'm not sure that it is right now.
Well, I mean,
it's funny how that happens, where you're getting shunned from jobs because you're a straight white guy in a wheelchair. You can't lift 50 pounds for 15 minutes a day in an office job where you don't have to lift fucking shit. And then you have Ellen Page becoming Achilles. Well, Achilles, in fairness, Achilles is Ghost. So that's one of the things is in you have your Greek and your Greek and Roman lore. A ghost had multiple different ways that it could appear to a person, and one of the ways it could be through dealing with Hades. A person might appear to you emaciated, gaunt, and with parts missing. And so if they find a way to Brad Pitt up Ellen's face, and in a kind of ghostly projection kind of form, if they bring Ellen Page in full Achilles kit, trying to look like Brad Pitt, that's not going to work. But if it's just this weird ghostly thing that say has the half the torso missing with the spine dangling out, one arm kind of half gone, and it just looks like gaunt and shrunken from time in the dirt, like that, I think could work.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to rely on that kind of reasonableness being involved. Also, it wasn't actually confirmed. I think they were just testing the water to see if it would be received well. And seeing as it fucking wasn't, I don't know if they're actually going to do it.
Hollywood reasonable? What?
You want to know the sad thing is I watched one of the X-Men. I can't remember which one, but it was one of the X-Men movies where Ellen Page was still Ellen Page.
Uh-huh.
and seeing that, it was like it kind of fucked with me a bit because I'm like, wow, like
She
she
used to be
act,
really
That
cute.
bitch took my role.
yeah, like she act well, yeah, like Mark said, she used to be like she used to be clearly a female, and she used to kind of be cute too, and so now
Well,
she and
the whole
so
forehead meme happened, and then I guess that took its toll.
well, yeah, the forehead meme happened, and
I've
then
thought an awful lot about that.
and then when he went well, and then like she went from playing a mutant to being a mutant now.
It's a
Now.
fucking. She is a Mengele's wet dream and nightmare.
Oh yeah. Well, that's my other thing too. Is so now some wise ass is saying, "Oh, X-Men is all secretly about it's all a trans allegory," and it's like, no, it's
That was about
fucking
World War II, man. Yeah, very different.
yeah.
That was about World War II and going into the Cold War.
And also about
Very
this,
clearly about that, especially where like the guy says it out
yeah,
loud and
and
writes it down.
also civil rights too.
Yeah, like it was very clearly a product of the generation that it was written in.
Yeah, but you know the current era, they can't create any stuff their own. They have to they have to find old stuff.
Well, you
So
see, it's easier to just parasitize, I guess, and then they act like locusts as soon as they all of the social favor has been curried. They move on to the next one. Hey, we destroyed this property. I guess our job is done here. Let's wait for it to regrow, and while we go and fuck up something else.
oh yeah,
I'm waiting for the woke Harry Potter thing to
Yep.
truly kick off. Like I think they're remaking it or doing like a prequel or something to it, and they want to have nothing to do with J.K. Rowling.
Yep.
And I
which
don't know how that's going, or like if it's going at all. But like the last I heard of it was, they got the original actors on board or something. It's like, you ungrateful little shits. She made your entire career, and you're doing this to her.
well, which is wild to me because like Harry Harry Potter initially, like it wasn't woke, but I guess like people could kind of consider it to be woke. I
Well,
guess.
if you have, it's put in an English setting for the most part, so you don't expect to have, like, you expect to have some people from around the world maybe, but you can see part of some places where they shoehorned in a bit of diversity in the cast, but it was also written fairly modernly too. So like, you have to give them props for sticking to a lot of the story in that way. I haven't actually read the books, mind you, but I'm aware of some of the background inside them. And God, I remember being in high school. My buddy wanted to fuck with the Harry Potter heads so badly. I think this was like her senior year. It was like 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
It leaked. Somebody, remember the part where they scanned the last book and they posted the scan onto torrents
Oh yeah.
12 hours before it came out.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's right.
so my buddy's just like, hey, I think it's around here. Can you go and get it and find it for me? I said, sure. So I got the PDF of it. And I said, what about it? And he said, can you confirm a couple things for me? I said, sure. So I go onto different pages and I look at things where he tells me to go, because I guess some people are already on. I think 4chan is already having a good laugh about it. So he told me some pages to go to check on things. And so I went, and some of the pages were off by like one or two. But then what he did was he went onto Facebook and he named groups after he put in the name of the group the spoiler, like on page 754 or whatever, Dumbledore dies.
Oh.
And then he invited a whole bunch
Oh
of people.
no.
He invited people to the Facebook groups so that even just like looking at the notification, they got the spoiler.
Yes.
And so he got all this shit for it. And I was sitting there cackling in the background.
That's
It's like,
evil.
not a damn person knows it was me.
So in 20, I think it was 2016, whenever the first of the sequel movies came out, a friend and I did that same thing where because a lot of people hadn't seen the movie yet, so they didn't know yet that Han Solo died in the movie. So we just named like Facebook groups like Han Solo gets stabbed by his son, or something like that. When Facebook was still relevant.
Mm-hmm.
So now of course Zuck doesn't even care about Facebook anymore. It's just,
well, he has the meta properties, which includes Instagram, where a lot of commerce is done. You see, that's the thing. I've seen ads on Instagram, like in the app and so forth, and I don't find them ever relevant. It's a bunch of Chinesium shit that I just don't need. And my guess is that part of that is because I haven't like clicked through on enough things with relevant targeting for them to be able to narrow in on me.
yeah.
It's just like garbage.
Even still, it's all that email bullshit.
Yeah, well, you're not.
Well, yeah,
well,
it's just a ton of Chinesium shit. And there's Instagram. There's a few other meta properties. Their whole thing is to do the metaverse thing, and then they get involved in interconnected advertisement and targeting. So like their primary products, like it used to be that they had this social graph that they could rely on as a product, but they moved into advertising and capturing diagnostics and metadata on just about everything they can through plugins on different platforms and so forth. That's their whole bread and butter is getting in on the analytics and advertisement conversion.
Yeah,
they've gone the route that Google did with search back in the day with AdSense, but they have the meta branding instead. So Facebook, while it still exists, it still has a captive audience. It still actually does stuff. But like there's so many, like I would say like mine. I usually don't go on there. The worst, I feel bad because I go on there, I'll always see messages like sometimes from years ago.
Yeah.
Like I try to check in like around my birthday or what have you, but like if you know more than there's the birthday paradox, right? Well, not even birthday paradox, just the birthday theorem, if you will. If you have more than a certain number of people in the room, there's the probability that you have two people with the same birthday. So the issue with a place like Facebook, especially if you're socially connected, even just for like job relevance, and you find the same kind of shit on like LinkedIn, where it at least doesn't remind you every fucking day. You end up having to say happy birthday to like a ton of people, and it sucks the utility out of it for like news or social interactions. Like if you're just saying happy birthday to everybody, it's like it used to be that the happy birthday meant you sent a birthday card with $20 in it or whatever, and everyone passed the same 20 around. But it was enough to get yourself something nice on your special day. But it was like among your handful of friends in town.
Yeah.
And maybe you have like the same kind of handful of friends online. You might pass each other $20 or buy a Steam game or what have you. But if you're doing that every goddamn day,
well now you also have like the problem of like if you wish like one person happy birthday, then another person gets upset that you didn't wish them happy birthday, and it's like
you give a mouse a cookie, and I just can't deal with that shit. I am too socially retarded to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
I will genuinely forget, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to feel that bad about it because it happens every fucking year. You have another birthday, I'll come back.
the other thing too, at least for me, is like, so prior to 2016, I used to love Facebook, but like after 2016,
Thereabouts, yeah.
Facebook just became like all politics all the
Yeah.
time, and
And I'm a particular type of asshole on X. A pretty, I'm a retarded guy on X too.
yeah,
And I'm like, I can do that in front of friends and family to a certain extent, but like, I don't need to have that somehow impact a random conversation from 20 years ago with a friend of mine for no good reason. Like, that's also a thing that bogs it down for me.
well, yeah, well, and well, the thing on X is like or not, like like love X or hate X. The one thing I will say about is because of the nature of like post formatting, like eventually you do have to stop and at least like make another post or reply or
Right.
whatever, right? On Facebook, people can write like whole entire fucking novels if they want to about why you're a bad person. And so it's like it's like yeah, I it's like yeah, I understand you have Trump derangement syndrome, but I'm not going to read this whole entire novel about like why
Yeah.
Trump about like why
I
Trump is
also get to dip my nose in and out on X really easily. The That's the thing about Facebook is they want attention capture, and they do it at the cost of total minutes. With X, I just kind of dip in and dip out, and it doesn't take. I don't sit there and, like, for instance, the whole novel aspect. I'm not sitting there reading 10 paragraphs normally on X. And while I love to read lengthy things and have lengthy arguments with people, typically I'm not doing that on X.
well
It's
yeah.
not a platform that is conducive to having such long form discussions out in the open so frequently. And I don't feel the need to deal with that stuff on a day to day basis. And
Well
if I do it on Facebook and I get caught up in that shit, it just they want you on there for hours and hours and hours, and that wastes my time in a continuous fashion, which is not good. I don't have that time.
that's one of the reasons why I do a podcast is because I like discussing stuff like long form. That's a little why I've done this for so long. My whole thing is okay, if you
Yeah.
want to write like a long ass paragraph to me on Facebook about this, that, or the other thing, cool. I have a podcast episode that links, that covers this topic that we're, talking about. Go listen to that, and you know, if you want my take on this, then listen to this, and if not, well, then don't bother me about it again. Pretty much. But no one wants to do that. They just want to argue for the sake of argument.
Oh,
So
yeah. Like the Facebook had a certain kind of toxicity to it that I didn't appreciate as well.
yeah,
And also, like, at the time, you couldn't just use a goddamn dark theme. As simple a thing as that is to be an issue, like, I'm not sitting there looking to find my screen bright white at this hour of the night.
yeah. I mean, their dark theme.
Looks like ass.
Yeah. Their dark theme really is not that at least with X you can go like full black if you want to.
Exactly.
But yeah, dark gray is not dark mode. It's dark gray. It's
Yeah,
dark gray
it's
mode.
half-assed. It's specifically still not what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, just because my eyes aren't being blinded at night doesn't mean that doesn't mean that this is better.
Speaking of late at night and better, and not blasting my eyes with bright white, we're well past pumpkin hour, mind you. We are getting to that point.
Yeah, we probably should wrap this up then. So
And hey, you got me for the extra hour and a half.
yeah, well,
almost 4-hour episode.
I appreciate you coming on, because like for those first 20 or 30 minutes between my stuff.
I felt bad. I saw you struggling a little bit because Max had the sinus issue and rumbled you.
Not only that.
Issues.
Well, not only that, but so a lot of the stuff that I was going to use for the Jesse Ridgway stuff, and I really should probably use this is my lesson to use archive for this type of stuff, but that fucker deleted that fucker deleted some of his posts I had bookmarked this morning on X to use for content.
Well, not just the archive. So you can also, you can search archive using wildcards, right? So as long as you have, well, actually, I guess nowadays that's changed a little bit. The way they do the, going to a specific post.
Yeah. The Wayback Machine is not what it.
Status. So you do x.com/username/status/star, and that'll give you all of the posts by that person. And then if you have an idea of roughly the timing of it, you just gotta go back a number of pages to find the right date. And if someone else has already archived it, then you can find it there.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good to have it. It's just kind of a pain when you're looking at your bookmarks and it's like, oh, why is this no longer there? I had this 3 hours ago. So
right. No, I get it.
But anyway, more. What is on tap for Bits and Bones?
Bits and Bones. Got to talk about the Nintendo Direct that happened today, and a couple other things that have been revealed in the last couple of days as well.
Well, good. At least I don't have to call your brothers to snatch you, because you want to talk about Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah, I know. Unless she speaks up between today and Friday, no Anita.
Well, I've already told your brothers that to bust into your house Kool-Aid Man style and drag you away if she ever comes up. So, but that sounds good. And obviously the Fake Untied podcast, well, it airs when it airs these days.
Yeah, there have been unfortunately more than just on my end too. There have been multiple funerals and spontaneous weekends moving people between houses, things like that have been slowing things down a little bit. I'm hoping we're getting past a lot of that, and I've got a wedding to go to coming up. Also, cousin's getting married, so that's going to be another weekend where I guess Steve, because he's on baby and work duty, he's also gotten bogged down.
Well, if Evan ever needs fill in,
Pay him seriously.
Yeah.
I think if now he occasionally for some reason, you'll never guess it from knowing him, but he occasionally has real life people he hangs out with on Saturdays. So
no way.
You might see him on Sundays.
No way.
Anywho, but yeah, definitely ping him. So So not this weekend, but the next weekend, I think it is. Would be when my cousin's getting married. So I think that'll be a good time for you to hop in and take a seat.
Indeed. So, well, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and follow Craig at CraigBob99 on all the places. Morpheus at Morpheus, me at 70_NDC, and BlameXSand at BlameXSand.
MORTHEOUS.
So, and thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll talk at you later.
The right to offend is not some pesky little part of freedom of speech that we have to put up with. It is the heart and soul and lungs of freedom of speech. It is the coursing lifeblood of human progress. It is the instigator of liberty and modernity and science and understanding. What a laughing stock today's student leaders are, that they can so casually dismiss the right to be offensive without realizing that their lovely, enlightened lives are the gift of individuals who gave offense. Offensiveness is not just something we have to begrudgingly accept. Offensiveness is the motor of human progress.
Thank you for watching the Whitfield Report live on the Right to Offend Media Network. Make sure to check out Sam's books on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. You can follow Sam on X at SamW_NGC and the Right to Offend Media Network at RTO Media. Like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. And until next time, God bless, God save this great nation. God, freedom, legacy.